You've got it set to M for Mini when it should be set to W for
Wumbo.
Okay, anyway, let's get into it. Welcome back,
You avoid
everyone.
the boring week stuff for when I'm not here? Yeah.
That stuff, is gonna be different this week anyway. Okay, so, the last time you guys cleared the dungeon, got a bunch of shit, like a bunch of loot and stuff. You got the book, you got a bunch of other stuff that Chucklos has written down, hypothetically.
I wrote it
And
down.
then Gondor got killed, and immediately afterwards, Tonrik got killed, and immediately afterwards, you returned to the Long Roads Coffee House, and Johann Bauer, Tonrik's son, was waiting for you and asked you to help him resurrect his dad. So that's where we are. Johann says, I know that you might not want to be seeing, I know that you might not want to see the Hell Knights. I know that you might not want to talk to the Hell Knights. I understand the night that you just had. But I also had a bad night, and I want to do something to fix it. Can you help me?
I am curious as to what you are going to do to fix it.
You get the impression that Johann is about to answer when Lyra comes up and she says, you guys should probably go downstairs and get some rest. Mr. Bauer, I'm going to have to ask you to wait, and we will speak with you more candidly soon. Shut up, Rachel. I pace! Okay. Anyway.
I sense motive on Lyra as to why she wants us to sleep instead of talk about this.
She wants you to sleep because you've been up for like a day and a half straight.
This makes sense.
I'm a cat man. I can go without a little bit of rest, a little bit more.
Wait, do you have vigilance?
No, I'm a cat man.
Give you vigilance, that's really all I care about.
Anyway, as soon as Lyra says that, you guys do actually remember that you did do the entire dungeon in the middle of the night and without sleeping, went all the way to Aria Park, all the way back. You are just as exhausted as she is describing.
Because what happened was I picked up the...
That happens next.
Do you consider that marching?
No.
Yeah, I guess you are less fatigued than the rest of them. Who cares? Anyway.
Yeah.
The sleep that you guys have is restless, and not very good. Obviously, your emotions are getting a little bit of the best of you, even though your exhaustion and fatigue sufficiently tired you out. Alaric, we talked about this.
Don't tell me how I feel.
I don't.
When you wake up in the
really
morning,
nice rest. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
when you wake up in the morning, the Dreamweaver's staff is lying in the bed next to you. Maragrug, when you wake up in the morning, your chest and arms and back hurt. And you can tell that that it's almost like there's like bruising, like you're bruised. Which is weird because your skin is literally black anyway.
Yeah, no, like iron hide. Like, okay.
Yep. So that's your life.
What happened to Maradrug last time that I'm forgetting?
He turned into a werewolf.
Nothing. This is what happened to America this time.
He turns into a dragon, I thought.
A dragon werewolf.
As you guys get up, everybody, greets you.
I'm trying. Because I am trying frantically to figure out where the staff comes from, and also how to make it disappear or whatever. I am very worried about the fact that Gondar just had this thing, but other than that, I have no idea how he kept it secret, kept it safe.
If you get up and you try and walk out of the room, you do feel noticeably, almost fatigued. And that fatigue goes away when you walk back into the room with the staff.
Oh, cool. Going with the staff, guys. Or rather, I say, friends, come, look. I have a large, hard rod in here.
Hey.
I don't swing that way, Alaric. Maybe you can talk to Rakax.
Like that you just almost said Beauregard. Like, might want to see my large rod. Magnificent.
Some of the other officers head in and take a look, and they are sufficiently surprised that the Dreamweaver is in your possession.
I don't know where it came from. I fell asleep. I had a weird lack of dreams. Woke up. The stick is here. Can't leave the room apparently. Makes me very sleepy.
Have you tried taking the stick with you?
Good point. I have not tried that. It is very heavy. I have no strength.
It is actually relatively light, even though it is a staff
Regardless, he didn't
literally
move. I
made.
didn't actually try and move it. I was just making it. I was fibbing an excuse.
Fair enough. It is solid metal, right? It's like 6 feet of solid metal. So you'd think that would weigh dozens of pounds, I suppose. But it doesn't to you. It's fairly easy to kind of move around.
Hold on? Could I carry for like a second?
That's okay. I don't know anything about this. Best I hold on to it for a minute.
But
I just want to
take
carry
it
it
with you.
like
you have
for a
an
second.
Easy time
Hold it.
moving in and out of the room. You do not feel fatigued when you are in the staff's presence.
Alright,
Okay.
alright. Still
I'm
in the room.
curious.
Can I hold the staff for a second?
Good. It's good. Don't worry about it.
What?
Don't worry about it.
Okay,
Sick.
Maragrug.
It ain't true.
So the next thing that happens
Okay.
is when you try and put on, like I assume you try and put on kind of like an undershirt kind of thing
Yeah.
that
Well,
goes
that's
under your
fine.
armor.
Yeah.
When you try and put that shirt on, it literally rips down the seam on the back, and you realize that that's not normal. That's not
No.
what regularly happens.
No.
If you
Like
try
you're
and put on
saying-
your armor that goes
Let's
across
see.
your chest and arms and stuff, you also have a tough time.
Like tough time as in it's tight, or
It is
Tough time as
skin.
in
Yeah.
wings are blocking him from putting it on.
No, there are no
No.
wings. You are having a tough time. You can get it on, but it is not very good, and it is uncomfortable and frustrating. So,
okay. So I'm super frost. That sounds good. Super tired, super frost.
but if you want to walk around shirtless, I'm sure Libra would appreciate it. Anyways, okay, so Lyra says, "Good. I'm glad that you all are rested because I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about. What do you want to handle first,
Ergrug, why are you shirtless?
Does he appear larger than usual?
Maragrug?
I mean-
he looks visibly bulkier up top.
I also look bruised, right? Like it's visible that I'm bruised.
Yeah, you
all
can
over.
very clearly see kind of this discoloration that's right beneath the skin, kind of on his pecs. In fact, if you look closely enough, you can actually see that the discoloration itself, like the skin on top of the discoloration, looks like light and flaky, almost kind of like what you would expect from like a sunburn kind of thing.
I don't know what happened, but I feel horrible.
What kind of check
Oh,
do we need
crap.
to make?
As soon as I spell
What-
craft, as soon as I find the thing.
What kind of check would it be, buddy?
What kind of check would it be? Well, you could make
Kill?
a couple of different knowledge checks to try and figure out hypotheses of what is happening.
What kind of knowledge?
I've got the
I
knowledge.
can't. You can roll some, and we'll see.
I will knowledge nature.
Like, I can literally roll any knowledge. I need to know which one I'm supposed to roll.
You can literally roll any of them, and we'll see which ones provide good hypotheses. Religion doesn't tell you anything. Arcana doesn't tell you anything. Actually, Arcana kind of tells you something. Arcana suggests, you hypothesize that it might have something to do with his bloodline, because of how his bloodline works. This could be some kind of ambient effect along those lines.
That is knowledge of that.
I guess
That's engineering, nobility, local.
We'll just go with engineering at first. Engineering reveals you nothing. Knowledge local reveals nothing. You can't figure out.
Do you have any? What is your background? Do you have any?
Have you been bit by anything?
History. That's also a history check. Do you want me to roll it again?
That check, I'm counting that individual roll for engineering because it's the first one you
Okay.
listed off. If you want to do the other ones, roll different checks. This is just brainstorming, right? This is just like, what on earth could it possibly be?
I got an 18 nature.
That's local.
Did I see nature?
Yeah, it's up there.
Oh, okay. Knowledge nature. Knowledge nature doesn't reveal anything. You could also use a heal check to try and figure something, to try and deduce this.
That's nobility.
That does not reveal anything.
That's local. That's history.
History. You kind of are barely remembering that so Kolkari Blackbloods are like a known military force. They're kind of interesting in and of their own right. And it's been said that some Kolkari Blackbloods do fight without armor entirely and have have enchanted war paint. So maybe this is related to that. Maybe.
I mean,
Nothing apparently magical about it.
Should I explain shit to them? Or should I at least explain, like, my lineage or whatever?
Yeah, Warren, so
Okay.
it's Marigrug, if you make checks, some of your checks might be different because you have a different background than the others.
Okay, I'll make a history check just because I know my history, I guess. I mean, I have...
Sure.
Yeah, that doesn't help me, but...
You don't, you are unaware.
Yeah, because I don't have anything that... I guess I'll try a nature...
Nature doesn't get you anything.
The mystery.
There's an aided nature in planes.
Okay, so you two kind of put your heads together about knowledge planes. One of the weird things about your bloodline is very atypical because it's shadow. It's a shadow dragon bloodline, and shadow dragons themselves come from the plane of shadows and are fueled by like a unique kind of energy source. So perhaps this just kind of like furthers the theory that perhaps this has something crazy to do with your extraplanar, effectively bloodline.
Right, so like... Right, so this is a side effect of that, maybe, possibly.
Possibly.
Of that, yeah. Okay.
The last one that I haven't seen is heal.
Where is my...
What do you have?
That is a good enough heal check to show that they look like bruises, but it's not like clearly there's something else going on underneath this flaky skin.
You feel different?
I ripped my shirt when I tried to put it on.
How did the shirt rip?
Right down the back.
Like,
Split.
were you too big for the shirt? Is this just like, did you
he's
grow?
too big for the shirt.
Okay, that's different from the shirt being vivisected upon touching his body.
Okay, so you guys have
vivisected, but you know what I mean.
effectively two hypotheses.
That's a dungeoneering check. No.
The first one is that this has something to do with his bloodline.
There are many sorcerers in the world that have ancient power in their blood. See, this is something similar.
The second is that it might have to do with being Kolkari, be part of his Kolkari heritage. You can do a new round, basically, of knowledge checks to try and create a plan moving forward. Knowledge history and knowledge local would be the best.
Okay.
Are they any better if I make the checks?
No, actually, these ones are better for Kintargo natives. Okay.
Okay.
History local.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know
Beauregard,
where history is.
Beauregard, you know from a historical perspective that it is very difficult. Like the Kolkari are well known, but they are not well understood. Right. They pop up in kind of historical narratives because they're the big shock troopers and the unique part of Nadal's military that's been around for forever. But there's not actually all that much good information. It's not like you've read, the history of the Kolkari by such and such and such and such, because the tribe is obviously so freaking brutal that that kind of thing hasn't been basically written down. But your knowledge local check reminds you that there is a scholar who you think owns a bookstore or like works in a library or something like that, who is specifically interested in Hapork heritage, and so he might have better answers for you.
Do I remember who that
Where's
is?
the city?
This Hapork's name is Atticus Voss.
Oh, Atticus!
Oh God! Of course. He's a librarian.
Oof, a barbarian librarian.
Speaking of the barbarian librarians,
Atticus Voss was my Blood Ranger in Hell's Rebels.
Iron Gods. He was an
Iron Gods, not Hell's Rebels. Yeah, Iron Gods.
You remember offhand that Atticus Voss and his brother Kolbjorn, they're adventurers from Numeria who made a whole bunch of gold, and Atticus and they basically started going around and learning about the different half-orc tribes that exist in the world or whatever, and he owns a bookstore that doesn't get any patronage, but it kind of doesn't matter because he has thousands upon thousands of gold.
Did we mine the shit out of the Silver Mount, basically?
So yeah, so...
Does he have a brother?
Yes. Kolbjorn is his adventuring companion who came with him for these journeys to study the half-orc heritage. Anyway, so if you want to figure out more about the mysterious thing that's affecting Maragrug, that's a good option for you.
Okay. But we also have other things to talk about.
Right. The more pressing concern, you guys basically aren't gonna. You need to deal with Johan and figure out kind of where to go from there before moving on to some of this other stuff.
I'm just gonna be in pain and shirtless. This is good.
So yeah.
Guys, this showed up. I don't know where it came from.
I said, well, it's good we have it instead of one of multitude of enemies.
Alright, how about we go to, what's...
So it's lying on the table, it's not floating?
Are we going to Johan, or does it come to us?
You guys will have to decide whether or not you want to meet with Johan upstairs or bring him into the Wasp's Nest downstairs. But you should probably meet
upstairs.
with him with like the whole contingent of people available.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I knowledge Arcana and knowledge Spellcraft the whole notion of this the staff that I am now holding.
You're pretty convinced that Gondor somehow attuned the staff to you immediately before his death, and that it needed to, you hypothesize that he was storing the staff in the Plane of Dreams, pulling it in and out of the Plane of Dreams, right? And so he needed to kind of invest the staff into another person on the material plane in order to have it basically not pop out and be given to Barzillai immediately as soon as he dies, right? So he did that transfer, but the staff stayed in the dream plane, and you needed to go to sleep and enter the Plane of Dreams in order for the staff to basically follow you out.
Right? Is there any way for me to put the staff back in the Plane of Dreams?
It definitely, you feel as though that is a possibility, but you don't really. There's not a lot that you know how to use the staff immediately right this moment. It's very likely that you will have to spend more time just kind of almost tuning
We
yourself
have the book, right?
to the staff and to the plane of dreams in order to understand. Yes, you do have the Tome of Dreams and Shadows. No, Dreams and Nightmares.
Nightmares, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
well,
definitely think we should meet with Johan
Well,
on
remember
the upper
reason
floor of
his
this
dad
establishment.
died was that yes, we should definitely not meet him down here because that's dumb. But the reason his dad died was because he didn't give this staff to Barzillai Frunius. So, you need to either I can't be there, which might be okay, but otherwise we
Don't worry,
we need
it
to
will
at
be
least figure
okay.
out a way to put the
If that is what you fear, you are free to not engage in negotiations. However, I know an opinionated man such as yourself probably wants a say in these proceedings, but that is your choice.
Let's
From an
see.
out-of-character perspective, you definitely can, if you want to leave the staff downstairs and head upstairs to negotiate it without in your direct presence, that's definitely doable, right? But from like an RP perspective, you should be with the staff as much as possible. It is not feasible for Alaric's long-term kind of mental stability or physical stability for him to it's not the right thing to store the staff in a dungeon, right, and never bring it with you when you go out adventuring.
I'm more talking about right now.
Yeah,
Okay,
if you want to leave it downstairs, that is perfectly acceptable.
Okay, I'll leave the staff downstairs. Make my way upstairs. Rest of the party.
How many people from our Silver Ravens group are coming up with us?
It will be just the counselors.
Okay.
Taylor and Vigo, Lyra,
And Mateo.
Mateo. I think that's all of you.
Yeah. Besides, the 6 of us.
Yeah. You can bring other people if you want. If you want to bring team leaders, for instance, but that's up to you.
No, there's already 10 of us plus Tall.
Fair enough. You get upstairs. Lyra has dutifully instructed her waitstaff to clear the coffee house so that you guys don't have any interruptions or are not otherwise overheard. And Maggie and Gormy have both left. So it is literally just the empty long roads and the lot of you guys. Johan is sitting there. He has Ariandis Jaltero, who has the crystal longsword with him, and 3 other Hell Knights, just like rank and file Hell Knights.
Is he wearing his father's ring?
What?
Father had a ring of true sight.
Oh, if he is, you can't see it.
I don't know why it would matter, but I was curious.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I go to this meeting as Beauregard.
Hello.
A nod to my cousin.
Hello.
Greetings.
Oh.
Hi.
Hello, Johan.
Thank you
Hi.
for accepting us, Brickax, and keeping us safe for the past couple of hours. I know that things are a little bit hectic, or I'm sure that things are a little bit hectic for you, just in the same way that they are for us. But yeah.
So Johan was there at the arrest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Johan
where-
and Ariandis were both there.
So where's the rest of the Hell Knights?
Most of them have been detained, as far as I know. I suspect that they are in holding at the vault.
And who is guarding the vaults right now? Is it the CCG or is it the Dotari?
It looks like it's being handled by the CCG. They're taking care of protecting the vaults, while the Dotari are focused on what the Dotari are focused on.
Well, I opened my eyes a little bit. So the CCG is protecting the vault, eh?
Says yes. I do believe that is the case, and given your history, I suppose I understand your enthusiasm. But I want to let you know that I think there's a certain. Sorry, I should start over. I have a proposition, effectively, but I think that we should go about this in a very specific procedure. I guess. So I'm just going to do my best to lay it all out, and then we can kind of get at it from whatever angle, I guess, you want to get at it. He pulls out a scroll and puts the scroll on the table. He says, this is a scroll of resurrection. We keep them in Citadel Vault just in case the worst happens to any of our Hell Knights, so that we can bring them back to their loved ones, so that, you know, those that they've died trying to stop don't stop them. This is the only one I think we're going to have access to, but it's the one that I want to use on the body of my father, who is currently swaying beneath the tree in Aria Park. I have it on very good authority that he will be allowed to remain there for several days before being transported to Temple Hill, where there's a cemetery for Order of the Torrent Hell Knights, that he will be buried, and this is what I want to happen. I want the Silver Ravens, specifically the 6 of you that seem to be your team, to help me get my father's body before it's buried and leave the city. We have an ally who lives a few days south of the city, and we're going to bring my father's corpse there, where he will be resurrected with the power of this scroll.
Is this scroll specific in some way?
No, it's just a regular scroll of resurrection.
Okay.
Why not? So why not exhume the body after it's been buried under the cover of, say, night?
I don't want to delay this any more than it should be delayed. And more importantly, I think that right now the Hell Knights are under suspicion, and I don't think Barzillai likes or trusts them in any way, but he doesn't know that we are actively working against him yet. And I want to make sure that when he finds out that that is the case...
Skip a couple steps there where the Hell Knights are actively working against Barzillai yet. Also, you seem to be in an odd position to be making demands.
I'm not making demands, I just haven't gotten to the point where I tell you what you can expect from us. Once my father is resurrected, we will join the Silver Ravens, and from that point on, you'll have the Hell Knights of the Order of the Torrent at your disposal. All of our goodwill, all of our strength and strategy and skill, the contacts we have, the armor that we have. Frankly, I don't know to the extent that you think we would be useful, but I can think of 100 different ways that the Hell Knights would empower your organization.
Powerful.
That offer
Sense
great,
motive.
but how can you guarantee that Tonrik, your father, will go for this when you resurrect him?
He says...
Very good
Tonrik
question.
and Gondor did have, like, the bad blood, right?
What?
Tonrik and Gondor didn't like each other, right?
No, it's Baron.
That's...
Oh, Baron. Yeah, you're right.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
Gondor and Baron didn't like each other specifically, right? Gondor felt specifically betrayed by Baron, because he had basically an agreement that said, you're allowed to do crime as long as it's white-collar bullshit, and you tell me about all of the bad stuff that you know in the city, right? Tonrik and Gondor were ideologically opposed, in the sense of Tonrik was lawful neutral and Gondor was chaotic neutral, but...
And Tonrik was reckless, right? Like he caused like the events that started the night of Flypaper, whatever the initiating incident was, caused a lot of death, and that was reckless. And Tonrik couldn't abide that, right?
So the Order of the Torrent exists as like a really harsh counterterrorism unit, right? Basically, they're like, you person are a terrorist, and we're gonna go out and we're not gonna play any games. I'm not gonna try and bring you in. I'm just gonna kill you and desecrate your corpse to make sure that you can't be brought back. Because D&D is filled with people. Like if I'm a level 10 sorcerer, yes, I can walk into a village and completely kill anyone without breaking a sweat, right? That's the kind of power stakes. The specific reason that Tonrik gave you guys was because he could pin Gondor to the escape from the vault It was Gondor's actions that led the hundreds of criminals that were in there, right, all of the bad people that had been locked away, to get back out into the city, right? And so that was the act that he could pin to Gondor that allowed him to follow through with this execution, if that makes sense.
Okay.
By the way, if you want to ask that question to, Johan, he can obviously explain to whatever extent.
Now, before we get too far off track...
I mean, so, he didn't answer the question about guaranteeing Tonrik.
He said my father's a man of his word.
Okay.
Is he a man of your word?
Right now, he's not in... Right now, he's not in a position to give his word. But I don't think that I can bring him back to life in the first place without your help. And I think that he'll recognize that when I make a pledge on behalf of the Hell Knights, right, with the Hell Knights ranking officer right beside me, right, he's talking about Ariandis, that he is going to abide by he's going to abide by the deal that we make with you.
I look at Ariandis and I say, and you're okay with this as well.
Johan, Ariandis kind of says, Johan might not be doing a very good job at making this case. Your sense motive, by the way, reveals exactly that. Johan is very, very nervous. He's also a relatively young guy, and he's not very good at these negotiations. But she says, yes, I think, whether or not you want to argue from the position of I'm a son who's just lost his father, or I'm a Hell Knight who's just lost his leader, we all want Tonrik back, and we all think that his execution at the hands of Barzillai Thrun is one of the worst tragedies that's befallen Ravenel. And so if you
tragedy,
get us back,
but is it unlawful? In what way? Why should the elite knights of why should the elite Hell Knights of the Order of the Torrent, beyond any personal, and I look at Johan, motivations, why should an otherwise extremely goody two shoes organization walk into the house, the literal den of thieves, and ask for our help? That's
alleged. We make no.
Ariadne's kind of rolls her eyes and she says, "We know exactly who you are and what you've been doing, right? We knew this in the warehouse. We've known for basically as long as we were able to kind of put two and two together about the group of you and Mr. Rendler himself. But that's not our concern. The Hell Knights aren't a Chelish legal organization, right? We are not bound by Chelish politics. In fact, before the lictor Tonrik joined forces and became part of Barzillai Thrun's council and all of that, the Hell Knights were almost entirely extrajudiciary, and we were working on our own framework for what is right and what is wrong. Frankly, I don't care if you want to rebel against the throne. I have no duty to protect that throne as a Hell Knight. I have a duty to protect these people. Those are the oaths that I've sworn.
Jimmy moved
and
into
so,
the speak by the server.
Well, that is the reason that I don't feel all that bad about coming to you for help.
That is all well and good, but it's precisely this sort of understanding that I would like to engender. And can I sense motive? What that, or just given the nature of the meeting, it's probably fine. But,
You're not very good at this, but Hunter specifically hits this nail right on the head. He totally what she's really describing is that she is specifically, and plenty of Hell Knights are actually just lawful good, and they don't care. Their allegiance isn't to House Thrun. It's not to, it's not to Asmodeus or the Devils or any of that other kind of stuff. They joined the Hell Knights in order to be protectors of the innocent, to be good people, right? And they just happen to follow the laws because that's obviously easier when it comes to this. But when the law turns against them, their priority isn't to try and uphold it, right? It's not to comply with Barzillai Thrune. Their priority is to keep helping the people. And right now, Barzillai has demonstrated that that is definitively not his priority.
So,
but that is also, you know, in the wake of there has to be chaos before there can be order, at least in what's been going. The way things have been going, it doesn't look like there's a happy way for this to all go down.
So I'm gonna roll a knowledge local,
Sure.
and this is essentially to see, like, was Tonric's death legal effectively, or how legal was it?
Fair enough.
Fairly, very legal, but
In the context of Chelish politics,
that natural.
In the context of Chelish politics, there's kind of no way that his death couldn't be legal, because at the end of the day, the Paracount can just declare anyone he wants a traitor, right?
Right.
You basically, it is literally, you know, this is Cheliax, it's the opposite of a pardon. If he says, you are a traitor, ipso facto, end of discussion, you are, you know, like, slam the door, chop off his head, you know, you are a traitor, and he has the legal right to kill you.
In Kintargo, prior to its rule by Cheliax, or prior to its direct rule by Cheliax, what was the deal?
That kind of thing is not the case. That kind of law in general is not, I mean, it's not uncommon, right? Like, yes, a king or a queen can go off with his head kind of thing. But it is definitely not, it's like, this isn't the case in Andoran, for instance.
So basically, like, I guess Hunter's sitting there and he's just like, really? It's whether or not it's legal that you guys are worried about this. Not the moral impact of it, but whether or not the law written by a devil worshipper.
I question the loyalty of the Hell Knights, an organization which by its creed is dedicated to law, whether that is a particular set of laws or the idea of order, notwithstanding, that is what I question. Like, the apparent willingness of them to perhaps not abandon that principle, but also I didn't really, like, say this out loud. I didn't, like, go like, hey, I'm thinking about how legal this is. I'm trying to, like, Beauregard is trying to understand, like, what the kind of, like, the Hell Knight's perspective on Tonric's death would be from, like, a legal standpoint.
Oh, so the Hell Knight's perspective on Tonric's death is almost kind of the opposite, right? I mean, okay, so, look, in terms of Chelish law, yes, it is legal, right? Barzillai Thrune can off with his head anyone he wants, call them traitors, and, you know, done deal, right? But from the Hell Knight's perspective, Tonric was an extremely popular lictor. This is mostly because people who were unpopular he kicked out of the order, but that's just kind of, like, noise.
So, Johan, I guess my question is, should, you know, what's more important, the law of the land or the law and order?
Sword.
I kind of want the end of Buddy's explanation on the Hell Knight's perspective.
So my point is, the Hell Knight perspective is that the Order of the Torrent is kind of almost by, you know, Tonric's design, kind of like a cult of personality, right? In the sense that these are people who follow their leader Tonric first, before they follow the, you know, kind of like the orders and the code of the Hell Knights, right? The orders and the codes of the Hell Knight are, you know, an easy political way in order to do what they want to do, which is protect the people of Ravenel. And Greater Cheliax.
So do I recognize this as something like?
Definitely. And by the way, you also recognize that historically this has not been the case, right?
Okay.
When Tonric became lictor, first of all, when Tonric became lictor, he jumped he went from a rank and file Hell Knight member to lictor, so he kind of jumped all of the officer positions, which caused all of almost the old guard to kind of vacate the order, and he's always been very aggressive about pruning people that he doesn't trust or like from the order. It is not a secret that, if you criticize him or you are a dick about how he wants to go about things, he will just kick you out of the Hell Knights and call it a day.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
where do these rejects go?
A lot of the time they go to the Dotari. Other times they just kind of become mercenaries or adventurers, or they join other Hell Knight orders. The Order of the Chain, if you guys know what that one is specifically.
Just a Kintargo thing? Like, is he the lictor of the whole Order of the Torrent, or is he the lictor of the Kintargo branch?
He is the lictor of the entire Order of the Torrent, which was founded in Kintargo specifically. And you don't quite... Well, so Ariana's answer, you can ask this to Ariana's, and she says, the Order of the Torrent has about 100 members. 50 of them...
Who is breathing?
No, wait, sorry, I'm lying. The Order of the Torrent has about 50 members, which is incredibly small, by the way, for a Hell Knight Order. About 25 of them were in the city, all of them were in the warehouse with you, and others are spread throughout Ravenel and Chelayax. There has been a kind of roosting order gone out that says that they should all return, but we have given that order so that they return to the spot where Tunrick will be resurrected, not to the city itself.
Understood.
She says, to kind of continue on Johan's point, our plan is that we are going to get Tunrick out of this. We are going to get Tunrick's corpse out of the city, bring him to this destination, and have him resurrected. Simultaneously, right? That same night, we would like the others in your organization, right? The various members that we know that you have kind of doing operations around the city, to orchestrate the escape from the vault, to get all of the Hell Knights, of which there are about 20, who are currently waiting inside the vault, being detained and waited to effectively be tortured and or interrogated for information. Once that is the case, send them south so that we can all regroup where Tunrick will be resurrected.
Well, you said Tunrick's death was a tragedy. Let's go give Barzillai Thrun a tragedy. What say you, Johan?
What? I don't
What?
see what are you suggesting?
Wait. Wouldn't like it be a tragic for him? Okay, so wouldn't it be tragic for him for Barzillai Thrun to lose all of his basically Hell Knights that he had gotten rich from?
This is a big political coup, definitely.
Yeah, like that. So I'm basically telling Johan that we are going to kill Barzillai Thrun, eventually.
Well, look at Rakax, and I say...
Johan is entirely on board.
That's yeah, because you want revenge? Yo, let's get revenge.
I say, Rakax, keep your fur on.
Keep your wits about you.
Rash actions will not advance the purposes of this rebellion.
You think it's brash to want to eventually kill Barzillai Thrun?
I think it's brash to talk about it in the open with an unsecured ally.
I like that you're considering us an ally at the very least, Johan says, trying to be diplomatic, failing because he misunderstands what you're saying.
I look at him and I say, I'm certainly intrigued by this proposition. I don't know how the rest of my associates feel, but
maybe why don't we go confer outside?
I mean, isn't it given that because we are the rebellion, we are going to kill?
Definitely. There is no way to win this rebellion.
You have to be you autistic to not understand a rebellion only works when you kill the head of the other.
That's
team.
definitely not true.
That's definitely not true. He could hypothetically flee the city, but your goal is certainly unequivocally. You want to kill Barzillai.
Yeah, there's a lot of
we
ways
want to kill him.
Why? We want to unseat him from power. There's a variety of ways to do that.
Yeah, but we're gonna be a violent, very, very violent coup.
Rakax,
If you guys want to confer about this, it is certainly it is an option available to you.
Before we confer, Ariandis, I know young Johan here means well, but I want your word that the Order of the Torrent will will cooperate with the Silver Raven should we succeed at this. As the ranking officer.
She says, "You're right. I am the ranking officer. Johan holds rank in the sense that he is a signifier, which are kind of like a parallel thing, but they are, it's kind of like how, like Army Corps of engineer guys, like those guys are captains or whatever, but they don't really do combat in the same way that like an actual captain does in like the regular. That's what it's like because he's a signifier rather than a rank and file Hell Knight. He says, yes, I'm the commanding officer, and I can make this pledge on behalf of the Order of the Torrent. And I know that the Order of the Torrent has stood for many things over many years, but right now the Order of the Torrent stands for keeping the people of Ravendell safe from those who would do them harm. And as far as I see it, Barzillai Thrune means to do all the harm that he possibly can in order to, confirm his rule of this city.
And I also want your word to me as my cousin. Regardless of what our name means to you, it means a lot to me.
She says, I have no qualms about, swearing on my family name.
What's your name again?
Ariandis Jaltero will not betray another member of my house.
Okay, let's say, if any of, I have heard all I need to hear for us to confer. If any of you, the rest of you, have questions, you should probably ask them before we go confer.
I guess my question is, you plan on us getting him and delivering him to you where? Where are we trying to get to give you this course?
And how? Do you have...
Can I interject really fast?
Sure.
Mostly because I have to leave right about now, and like Alaric's 2 cents, whether they're delivered in the back room, are that Alaric is generally, what Alaric is most worried about is not he's worried about either a long con, but more specifically, he's worried about there being elements of the Hell Knights that are not in line, like whether they are agents of the Thrunes or just they're not down for this rebellion business, and that's his primary concern with seems like an okay plan. The Hell Knights might seem solid in the sense that their version of law might not necessarily be might be lawful in a code sense, but so he as usual advises caution, but having a bunch of trained badasses on our side sounds like a good plan.
So Ariandis, I will spare you details for time purposes. Ariandis will recount what happened specifically, like the night that Tonrik died, right after the warehouse and everything like that. But suffice to say that the 5 of them standing in front of you, they did everything that they could to get all of the Hell Knights that knew specific information about the group of you guys away from Barzillai. So Barzillai couldn't, he can't torture that information effectively out of the knights that he has detained. The 5 knights before you are all of the knights that know of your names specifically, right? They can match names to faces. But 2 knights that are currently in Barzillai's custody know that the Long Roads Coffee House is your base of operations.
Okay. They know that fact, not our name.
I gotta go back.
They know that fact alone, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we need to move, away from here.
Ariandis says, I don't want to spook you with that information, because Hell Knights are Hell Knights, and I honestly think that it is entirely within the realm of possibility that Tonrik died to protect your secret. I don't know the specific, we don't know the specifics of why he was killed, but it is certainly, that's a real thing. And I don't think that any of the Hell Knights that they do currently have in their custody would reveal that information, even under the threat of torture.
Who just said that? Was that
Ariandis did.
Ariandis did.
Good. Well, I believe Marigrug had a logistics question.
Sure.
Yeah, So, you want us to go get the corpse. I get that.
Right.
I don't really know, but he is out on public display. And then, of course, we have to get him to you through the city. I guess my two concerns are how we get him if you have a suggestion as how that's possible. I get why you don't want to get him, but then how do we get him to you through the city? Those are very concerning to me.
They hold up the same tokens that you saw that Tonrik gave you the other day. He said, these tokens are still legal. As long as we're properly disguised, we can move through the city against curfew without any trouble. Additionally, these tokens allow us to pass inside and outside of the city without being harassed as well, right? This is a pass essentially for that. So as long as our disguise is good enough, it shouldn't be a problem for us to get Tonrik out of the city the same night that we liberate him from the graveyard.
I nod knowingly and say, the disguise will be good enough.
Willow.
Okay, but I guess my point is, so then, are we taking him out of the city, or are we getting him to you, and then you take him out of the city?
We've talked about that a bit. We want all of you to come with us, especially because I think I don't think. Look, we don't want to look as though we're trying to pull the wool over your eyes. So as soon as Tonrik gets up, we want him to be able to reaffirm, the deal that we just made with, that we are prepared to make with you now, right? If you agree to help us, we want Tonrik to affirm that deal as soon as he's resurrected, so that you don't think that, we're using you to get Tonrik, get him up however many days south of the city so that they can all, abscond into the distance without making good on their side of things.
Okay, so the five of you, like, looking at all of them,
yeah,
you are all going to help us get the body.
Yep.
Or not. Okay. Besides the fact that there'll be 11 of us, so we're all just going to go there, grab it, and run? Or does any one of you have a plan?
We'll need to hire a bard to play the Benny Hill theme as we run through the streets of Chicago.
It's likely that there will be It's likely that there will be people protecting, protecting the graveyard, likely from the Church of Asmodeus. But like I said, there's going to be a fair number of us. It shouldn't be too much of an issue to.
Tonrik's in the graveyard, right? I'm sorry, this is from before. This isn't.
Tonrik.
I thought he was on display.
Tonrik is going. He's on display in the square, but he is going to be moved to the Order of the Torrent graveyard in a couple of days. He's not going to stand. He's not going to be swinging outside of Barzillai Rune's, house forever.
What's been concerning me, but we're not trying to get him out of there. We're trying to get him out of the graveyard.
You're trying to get him out of the graveyard in the Temple District.
Wait, we're intercepting the burial train, right? We're not.
Yeah.
Ariana says we think it would be best to attack them in the graveyard itself. But if you want to, attack them in the streets, that's also an option.
What? Going back to
we must go fast.
Be
furious.
Going back to my original question.
Case on him.
Why not wait for them to bury him and exhume him after they're gone?
We don't know what their plans are for guarding the corpse, and obviously exhuming a corpse is a time. It's a time-extensive process, right? So if they decide to camp out for the rest of the night, well, then because the thing at the vault is happening at the exact same time. If the thing at the vault gets around to the Dotari and all of a sudden they double the guard, or they send more guards to the cemetery, that's bad news for all of us. The ideal scenario is both of these things are happening at the exact same time, so neither of them can report what's going on to the other and allow reinforcements to disrupt things.
That is more than fair.
That makes a
Also,
lot
the
more
reason they don't
sense.
want to do it in the streets is because when you do it in the streets, there's just, an open graveyard has less eyes and ears kind of passively on it. Things
Whereas
like,
the streets-
it's not like you're going to run into a patrol of Dotari, for instance.
Okay, we'll discuss the particulars later, but unless there are any other questions, I think we're ready to discuss. Are we not?
I think we're...
Yes, yeah. I think we have the info we need.
I have a random question. If there's 5 of them, do we know all 5 of them by name, or do we just know, like, the 2 of them?
The 2 of them, yeah, and then the other 2 have names, I guess. I tell you their names.
I was curious.
We hear the
about
names.
people.
You hear the names.
We
it's
hear
not
the
in my head
names.
That they have names.
They're Lucretius and Brenda.
Yeah, like... Okay, so you guys head into the back to confer. The first thing that Lyra says is, well, this is a slam dunk, right? Right?
She says slam dunk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is basketball,
Yeah,
in this
basketball is a
universe?
new sport that's, picking up in Druma. Shut the fuck up, Jimmy. Okay.
No,
Yeah?
I like the game. Anyway.
She says, I kind of can't believe that this has fallen into our lap, which makes me a little suspicious, but I don't know, I think I believe them.
I think the explanation was more than fair.
I am reassured by the promises of my kinsman.
Taylor says, it is mind-boggling to me how much we could... This is the kind of mileage I think that, we need to get in order to really kick this rebellion into high gear, right? The transition between, the transition from a small rebellion to a revolution happens with moments like this.
Don't underestimate the fuel of revenge. It is very powerful.
Vigo says, I agree with that. And Mateo says, I don't buy it. Not because I think not because they're lying to us. I don't think they're lying to us. I just don't want to shack up with the same people who literally killed Gondor 12 hours ago. That's
a fair statement.
And he says, I also think that it's a little bit... I don't know that I believe that that's just a scroll of resurrection. I can't believe that Barzillai Thrune wouldn't desecrate Tonric's corpse. Of course he would, right? He's clearly... He thinks about this stuff. And I don't think that he would let that kind of mistake let, Tonric's corpse be hanging out in the wind when people could come. It doesn't even need to be resurrection. There are weaker spells that could bring him back to life.
Well, isn't that why we have resurrection, to overcome that?
Well,
overcome the limits of those weaker spells?
Definitely, right? But I think he's desecrated. I think they're not telling us the truth.
You think they have access to the Scroll of Resurrection, and
I
we
think
could use that.
I think that scroll... Here's my bet. If we see that scroll, if they show us that scroll, that's a scroll of true resurrection. And that's a scroll that we can use to bring Gondor back to life and get this rebellion back with, functionally, one of its founding members. And we don't need it to bring back Tonrik Bauer. The Hell Knights aren't... It's not like the Hell Knights are going to join up with... Barzillai Thrune if we do that, and that's just my... I bet that's what's happening here.
Jimmy from GURPS server.
I think this trivializes Gondor's sacrifice. If we can get the Hell Knights on our side as allies rather than merely a neutral party, to me that makes a lot more sense. Or to the Bloody Quill, anyway. Because, basically... Worst case scenario here is if we raise Gondor instead of Tonrik, is that the Hell Knights do turn against us. That Johann looks like an idiot, and anyone who's on the fence goes over to the radical side, and Barzillai Thrune has another tool that knows very much about us and can destroy us. I think
Taylor says, I also completely don't... I just don't think that's true. I don't think they were lying to us about that scroll. I think it's the scroll of resurrection. And look, Barzillai Thrun just killed like a hero of the city in what, a fit of rage? Clearly, he's not thinking straight. He's not gonna be worrying about desecrating the corpse afterwards.
Do they have the scroll on them?
Yeah, they put the scroll on the table and they presented it to you.
Can
I'll pick it up.
Yeah, can we like go back and look at it and verify that it's a scroll of resurrection?
You can go back and I mean, yeah, sure. You can ask him if you want.
I go and
Yeah.
ask him, hey, can I see that scroll of resurrection?
That's not weird.
You got any?
Us.
Immediately, Ariandis and Johan like exchange a glance, and Johan looks back at you and he says, "This scroll cost us a lot of gold. It's very valuable to us, obviously. So we really don't want to let it leave our sight."
Can you hold it up
You can
and
show
open
to
it?
us.
Yeah,
That's
so
you
that-
just
okay
look
too.
at it with you there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
They exchange another set of glances. Something is up, and Ariandis says, "I don't know that I even want to do that."
It's a scroll of true resurrection, isn't it?
Incredibly.
I just look at her and I call her. I'll just call it out. That's the scroll of true resurrection, isn't it?
She says, "Yes, it is."
Who's gonna use it?
So
We have
Tomeric's body's been desecrated.
yes.
You
We
have a
believe
level
that his
9.
body has been desecrated.
You have a very powerful priest coming, or cleric, don't you?
We have an ally. We have an ally several days to the south at a shrine on the coastline. He is an incredibly powerful cleric, and he's been an ally of Tonrix, if not necessarily the Order of the Torrents, for the last 15 years. We believe that if we bring Tonrix's corpse and this scroll to him, that he will help us resurrect our leader.
And how much did that scroll cost you?
Like 28,000. It is literally the
The
only
life.
one.
The life of their leader is worth more than gold.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
So I'm just wondering, who did you buy that from? Because I might be in the market to buy one eventually.
It has been in the Hell Knight. It has been in the Hell Knight vault for years.
Wait, what am I asking? I could just I could just ask your friend if once all this is over for work.
The person that they know doesn't necessarily know true resurrection. That's probably why they have a scroll.
Spell.
Yeah. He's also, I mean, you don't know this. They say he's also not quite powerful enough, but he will be able to make the scroll work. That we are sure of.
That's why you at least need him.
So I asked them, why did you hide this from us?
Johan says, honestly, we didn't know how reasonable you would be in treating with us after Gondor died, and we know that the only way that you have to bring Gondor back is with a scroll of true resurrection, so, I mean, what's to stop you from leaping over this table now, killing the 5 of us, and going and resurrecting him, right? Nothing.
I might be a cat, but I'm not a savage cat.
Even if that were the case, we couldn't be sure. So,
Well, we will have to confer on this.
This changes everything.
Mateo has like an angry. He is angry, but also kind of smug about this, and he says, I knew you were lying to us."
And I say, are you kidding me? This is what we have to deal with? And I point to Mateo without looking at him. It's like, we have to deal with this smug asshole.
He says, I'm the only person that's thinking about the rebellion, right? How on earth can you think that Tonrik Bauer is going to be more useful to this rebellion than Gondor?
Wait, are we having this? Are we having this fight in front of the?
No, you guys are conferring.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All of us are considering.
Because Gondor
The
only brings one
importance of this
person.
to the rebellion.
Conrad brings a whole army.
He's the person that brought all of us together. You wouldn't have known my name. None of you would be out of that prison. None of us would be together with the Silver Ravens without Gondor in the first place. Gondor is literally one of the founding members of the Silver Ravens from 80 years ago.
I'm
Gondor
surprised he hasn't died yet.
Gondor is
Naturally.
dead. We can bring him back, but to do that, we need to secure the city. That's what he would want. We will return him to life. Have no doubt about that.
Also,
But it's a process.
this
And if
revelation gives us something even greater than what we had before, and that is more leverage. More leverage. They know that they fucked up. We can turn the situation to our advantage.
We also know that they have a powerful ally that can resurrect Gondor eventually with a scroll of true resurrection.
I think it will be an easy task to get the maybe this will appease you, Mateo. I say we return to that negotiating table and we ask the Hell Knights to swear to help us resurrect Gondor, not necessarily immediately, but that as part of this deal they agree that their debt to us is not fulfilled until Gondor is resurrected and walking among us once again.
I'll even ask them if you want to shake their hand.
I don't want to touch them. If you want to go forward with this, fine. I know when I'm outvoted, but don't ask me to switch sides just because.
I understand that. I do.
Do not switch sides. You're on Gondor's side. We are all on Gondor's side.
You're not acting like it. And then he leaves. Enough! It's the second time in like 10 hours that he's done that.
This little bitch.
We also have to deal with his brother. He's gonna have a moody fucking day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mateo's a little emo. Anyway, so what do you guys, what's next?
I guess we accept the deal. When we go
Well,
don't we?
So first of all, what say we all? I'm in favor of attempting to leverage this to get them to swear to help resurrect Gondor. Does that sound reasonable to the rest of you?
Yeah, that sounds a little familiar to someone that said, yeah. Ooh, that's good.
This is acceptable to me.
I mean, I think it's correct to talk to them about a like for a like, getting Gondor back. But otherwise, this seems to be in our best interest.
I agree.
Okay.
Sounds like we're all on the same page for once.
In the interest of fairness, I will play the devil's advocate and raise Alaric's concerns for him. There is the remote but distinct possibility that this is some kind of long con to get us to expose ourselves somewhere down the coast away from our allies, just the six of us. So Bosley might get his hands on the Dreamweaver.
Wait, we have, so he is confirmed dead, right? Like Conric is confirmed dead. He's not just like
yes.
You saw his body hanging from the tree.
Yeah, he.
No, but is he dead? Like he could be hanging and like be pretending to be dead, but he's dead.
No, he's pretty dead.
Yeah. Okay.
Confirmation. He's super dead.
Okay, I just wonder if like he wakes up and he's like fully like done and like starts attacking. I'm like, oh my god.
The point being that this, he can be dead as dead. He could be dead and desecrated. $28,000 or 28,000 gold rather is a pittance to put. It would be a pittance for an artifact of the power of the level of the Dreamweaver. I'm not suggesting that this is the case, but I think this is a potential hang-up. And I think I would be remiss if I did not bring it up for our dear friend Alaric's sake.
Okay.
Well,
do any of you have any thoughts on that?
Well, that is fair. That they could betray us.
Seems reasonable.
Maybe we should take a look at the is there a way we can? There must be a way we can confirm that the what's it called? The Hell Knights are actually being held.
In from Dirk speak by the server.
And like they're actually being tortured by the CCG and by Bard's Lythrum.
I mean, we don't have our scryer anymore, so not sure.
No, we don't have a backup scryer either.
We could. So let me float this idea. Seems we're all of the same mind to agree to this, presuming that this isn't some very long and convoluted plan. Yeah. We can agree to it now and verify before we make this daring run at the graveyard.
From Derp
And I
Speak
think
by-
that...
Oh, are we going to the graveyard? We're not going to the square anymore?
No.
No, we were never going to the school. We will sort out the particulars. We will
Alright.
we will sort out the particulars of this later, because I have my own ideas about how this might be best accomplished. But at the very least, before we attempt to recover Gondor's body, we can independently verify many of the things that they have said, and I think that should say those potential issues. Do you guys agree?
Yes, and have they confirmed when, like the time period when we will be rescuing the body?
They mentioned it's funny, like they kind of know, right, buddy?
Like he's in the graveyard in 2 days.
2 days.
Oh, they gave
Yes.
it 2 days? Oh, okay.
Right.
They don't know what day it's going to happen. You guys are going to have to react at the drop of a hat, kind of thing. But
Okay. But it's not okay. I guess
It's
when
probably
their
not tonight.
confirmation is It's not right
it is.
now.
Yeah, it is definitely not tonight.
Okay.
All right. We can send some of our teams to verify the things we have heard. But all in favor say aye. Aye.
Hey!
All opposed? Nay. Say nay.
agrees.
Everyone agrees.
The ayes have it.
Agrees. Because Mateo left. 'Cause he's pissed. Okay, so you guys head back out to the room.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you say?
Say now, in light of our most recent discovery, I say motioning to the scroll, we're gonna have to ask you for a little bit more for this. We want you to promise that in due time you will help us resurrect Gondor in the same way that we will have helped you resurrect Tonrik.
They look to one another and they say, that's hard for us to agree to. I mean, we don't have that kind of gold, and we're not going to have those kinds of resources. I don't know ever again. If we're going underground.
It doesn't have to be now, and it doesn't have to be. It doesn't even have to. It doesn't have to be now. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be the next day. But we want your. When we call on you to help with this endeavor, we want your cooperation.
Fair enough. Ariana says, we will also need you to effectively shelter us. We can't, we obviously can't go back to Citadel Ball, and it's not smart for us to be on the streets. So we'll need you to shelter us for however many days until they decide to move the body.
Huh. Do we have any other options besides the Wasp's Nest for that?
You have two other safe houses. The Tooth and Nail, which is a bar in Old Town in the southwest corner of the city, and also Clench Jaws.
Let's not go to Clench Jaws.
Where's the square?
Too obvious.
Where?
Where?
Yeah, map one.
Where-
Square. So on the map, J4 is where Tonrik is hanging, and I think Tooth and Nail is like 07 or something.
Okay, and where's the graveyard?
Let's look. 08. 08 is so this is the park. This is the Tooth and Nail, and the graveyard is let's choose something in the Temple District because it doesn't actually exist in the campaign. Okay, cool. This one on the water here.
Okay. And where's Clench Jaws?
Clench Jaws is across the river. I think it's Y5.
What's our closest safe house to the graveyard?
Clench Jaws is across the bridge from the graveyard.
Where is the
and then-
Wasp's Nest?
So the Wasp's Nest is like V3, I want to say.
Okay.
Y5 is Clinch Jaws down here. This right above T2 is where the graveyard is, and then 08 is the Tooth and Nail.
Would it make sense for us to relocate ourselves to Y5, these gentlemen to 08?
What are these numbers you're talking about?
Taylor said, I mean,
They're on the map.
yeah.
on our main
Taylor
screen.
says, I actually think it's smarter to do the opposite. They already know that Clench Jaws is one of our places, right? Johan
I
saw
like
you
that.
guys there, and that's where we were working with,
That is fair. That is
Head of
very
Behavior.
fair.
This
So
is
if
this
we
is smart.
want to relocate to the Tooth and Nail, we can just stash them at Clench Jaws.
That makes sense to me.
Who suggested that? They're smart.
Taylor.
No
Makes
Taylor.
sense. Money person.
It's almost like Taylor is in there to be like the most pragmatic voice of pragmatism.
So she's the new Gonder.
That makes sense to me. Does that make sense to the rest of you?
I don't oppose.
Sounds good.
Okay. As a part of this, you guys will also have to, basically, the breakout from the vault is going to be a more meticulously planned version of kind of, like, all of your teams will be participating, and you'll kind of want to coordinate all of that kind of stuff, before other stuff happens. So you tell them to go to Clench Jaws. Johan obviously remembers it. He always suspected that it was a safe house. They were fine with relocating there for a couple of days until shit needs to go down. You guys definitively want to move to the Tooth and Nail?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Tooth
do
and
we have
Nail is
other
owned by. These are the.
Sure.
You can move between your own safe houses, but you would have to take the time to set up a new safe house somewhere else if you wanted to do kind of something different. The Tooth and Nail is, in a lot of ways, kind of the opposite of the Long Roads, because the Long Roads is in a quiet part of town, right outside the nobles, right? Like, it doesn't see it. It's very it's kind of under run. Not a lot of people come in and out, kind of thing. But Old Town definitely is the opposite of that. It is a very populous place. The owner's name is Citrona Sabinus. She is extremely outspoken about how much she hates House Thrune and all of this stuff. Her bar is basically like a tenement house for people that need to, stay indoors in order to beat curfew, kind of thing. So that's like the background on this safe house of yours. Jeez, what else? What was I gonna say? You also get you also get two things. We're not gonna do weekly stuff right now, but Lyra produces two notes. One of which is a note that says it's from Morgar, who's not staying with you guys in the Long Roads anymore. He says he wants to meet in a public forum not too far away from the Long Roads itself. That he has some pressing information for you, and the other note says that that the supporters that Lyra has been working on for the past week are moles, and that you shouldn't give them any more information as to the specifics of the rebellion.
And this is, and do we know who that note's from? Is it from the same mysterious person that took us off to Morgar?
If you compare, the two notes they are extremely similar in terms of like handwriting and typeface.
That's
and
the
that
linguistics.
Kind of thing. That is actually true. That is a linguistics check. With that linguistics check, you are relatively confident that this is the same person alerting you to what's been going on.
I wonder who it is.
I wonder.
Somebody.
You don't wonder, buddy. You know exactly who
I
it
do
is.
know who it is. Actually, Morgar gave you a hint, but I don't know if you picked up on it. So that. What do you guys want to do with those two notes?
No, I do think we should meet with
What did he
Morgar.
give us a hint about?
I think we should follow up with
He
Doug.
gave you a hint on who he thought was giving the notes out.
Uh,
I'm not going to repeat
I
it.
don't
Right.
remember.
Oh, the notes wasn't it like Barzillai Thrune's like secretary?
What?
what?
I don't remember
No.
that.
Like it's like the Barzillai Thrune like his like second like his first hand like
I think Enoch is just saying something that's clearly not the case in order to bait me
bait
into
you.
correcting him. Like, no, it was secretly, Barney Rubble the whole time.
But, buddy, don't you like spoiling us? I don't
I
understand why
do
you're
like
not helping
spoiling
us.
you guys. That's why I gave you this hint in the first place. Anyway,
But to Enoch's point, or to Rakax's point, I saved handwriting samples from the place that we went.
fair enough.
I compare the.
Tiarisi Izoni. Was
Uh,
that her?
Yeah, but
Tiarisa Izoni.
Like, remember when?
Madam Cyrone?
Bryce Aroni. I can.
So
Tiarisa Izoni is Barzillai's arcane. She's a caster of some
Oh
sort.
wait, who is his like?
The devil woman
Confidant.
that we.
Her. The one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Also, Kornstein Grivner is the head of the Church of Asmodeus.
The one that we made the deal with, I think, is who Enoch's referring to.
Oh, Nox.
Yeah.
Oh, not.
Is that who you're referring to, Enoch? Rakax?
Sorry, what?
Nox.
I'm
Not.
trying to figure out who you're referring to.
Oh, maybe it was Nox. Yeah, maybe it was Nox.
All right.
Okay.
I have a sample of her handwriting and of
Why don't she help?
Arja Barjanal, everybody who was in that temple or in that funhouse.
Asbernathi Raoul.
Yeah,
The
Asbernathi.
name you're looking for, I believe.
I compare the handwriting on the notes to all the notes in the
Do we
that
still have Knox's contract?
I pulled.
Never...
It was oh yeah, we wrote it down. We did.
You did
Yeah,
right.
you wrote it down, right?
Yeah, we made that a point.
Yeah. Are you to roll the linguistics? It does not match any of those people.
Okay.
Great, okay. Back to square one.
Well, we have eliminated some of the pool. Frankly, for the second message, it was right the first time, and these people are not yet integrated into our organization. We could just not recruit them. I don't think that's the end of the world. Although that might also tip off the suspicions that we know about them. What do you got? What do you guys think? We could attempt to directly mislead them, or we could.
I think misinformation at least gives us good stalling, as opposed to getting rid of them outright makes it immediately aware.
I like trying to entrap them. Maybe we can use this to our advantage if we get them to target someone else or something.
That warehouse. That warehouse
If
with
you
the.
want to do, if you want to do like an entrapment kind of thing, that would be like its own special mission that you'd send a team on.
Okay. Can we like remember that Red Jill's warehouse that we cleaned out?
Yeah.
Can we like send them there?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, basically, sure.
Like,
They're gonna find Hedman Hayes.
he doesn't operate out of there. That was the evil ones.
Yeah, that.
Those
I
slaves.
thought Hedman Hayes was working out of the Red Jill's place now.
I mean, he was, but he got kicked off, and then they had a new leader and all that jazz.
Yeah, but I thought we kicked them off and then we put him back in.
He never left the Red Jills. He just let her disaffected tieflings.
No. Like the area that we went to, kind of recruit or I guess save the Red Jills.
I mean, yeah, we did send him to go recruit whoever the hell he wanted.
Oh, okay.
But I doubt
Gotcha.
he owns that specific warehouse now. That'd be a weird transfer of title.
Like, yeah, I thought his base was like that warehouse.
No.
Okay.
That was Clench Jaws is where he was operating out of.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I didn't know where he was operating out of. I forgot.
You actually sent him to work off of the work out of Old Town. So he is currently working out of the what's it called thing? The Tooth and Nail.
Yeah.
So we're going to be with him anyway.
Yay. But yeah, we can probably send them there, and then
Okay. That.
Do you want to? So my thought would be to send them there and kind of make it look like the organization has kind of disintegrated. Did you want to? Did you all want to try something more harsh? Trap them, interrogate them.
No.
I'm fine with just outlining them as normal. Whatever you guys want to do, you guys decide.
If you want to do this, this is a special mission to basically send your guys on. It would be aware. It would remove one team from your
speak by the server.
From your like Vault Raiders group.
Oh, okay. I think that's worthwhile. Out of I would say the rest of you.
That sounds good to me.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I guess.
Okay.
And yeah, so which team are we going to use?
We'll deal with this. We'll deal with that in a bit. I'm gonna make a note of it. For a special.
Jimmy moved in from Derp speak by the server.
Jimmy, are you all right?
It just constantly disconnects and connects. I don't know why.
Okay.
It only happens some days. So, like, I'm not doing anything. It's doing all that by itself. I just can't hear you sometimes for, like, 3 seconds. And I haven't a clue how to fix it. Hello, are you guys there?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just I'm writing this stuff down. Okay, cool. So you have special missions that will that you can work on: entrapment and to free the Hell Knights. All right. Do you guys want to? What do you want to do?
What
do you want to do?
With Morgar?
Yeah.
I'd say
you guys have Morgar to deal with, and you also have like Marigrug, also other bonus feat stuff. If you want to move on to that.
I'd say we deal with Morgar, Marigrug, and then other things. That plan sound good to you guys? I don't need to be in character for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We could do with the rescuing second.
The rescuing guy, I assume, comes at the end.
Yeah, that stuff we'll deal with that stuff all at once.
Are we doing like team prep first and then the missions?
There's other things to do, Enoch.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Active things. We're talking about going and talking to Morgar directly.
Yeah.
I thought we were like having like a team replacing like him something.
No.
You are currently recruiting someone to replace his team, but that will proc when we do missions. Anyway, so you guys are going to talk to Morgar Manthai, right? Enoch doesn't understand that; he'll get on board. Morgar wants to meet with you guys in a public, basically like in a public square, almost like not like a marketplace, but like a terrace with like patio furniture, essentially that is busy and well lit. You see him sitting at one of those tables with a coin, not unlike the coin that Hedman and Hayes was using to disguise the conversation at his table.
I whisper a quiet word to Weirin and Marigrug and burn inspiration for it.
Okay.
Just the class feature. You can.
Plus. Is it +2?
It's well, you get to use my ranks for diplomacy or intimidate, which is we're at level 4. So if you don't have those skills, which I think both of you don't have one of them, and you need to make that check, you can use my ranks instead of yours.
Ah, okay.
And you can also roll a d6 on top of it, and add to it.
Oh, Okay.
You have 4 rank?
Yeah. Because,
Your mod is +4.
well, no, my mod is bigger, but you only get to use
Oh.
my ranks.
We get to act as if we have 4 rank.
Yes.
Oh.
And then you get to also get to roll one of my d6s, but one of my inspiration d6s on top of it.
Boy.
Alright.
Okay.
You go talk to Morgar Manthai.
All right. As soon as you sit down, he greets you. He says, "Hi. I hope you understand that I wasn't exactly comfortable walking back into the lion's den. But I thought, well, to be honest, I don't know why I thought that I would do this, but I'm doing this. The first thing you should know is that I'm leaving the city and that I will be gone by nightfall. The second thing you should know is that they know about the long roads. Nox approached me specifically. She wanted to know everything that I knew about rebel activity, and I did everything just like I always have where I've covered for it. But no amount of my covering is going to stop them from following up. You guys have a day, maybe 2 tops, to get out of there and figure out, I don't know, to figure out what you want to do with yourselves.
Well, we'll take that under advisement. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Cool. I'm sorry for how this whole thing went down. I think what you're doing is noble, if stupid. And then he takes his coin, gets up, and leaves.
Well, before, as he reaches for his coin, I put my hand on his and I say, "Know that if I ever see you in this city again, you will die."
He said, "That's why you're never going to see me in this city again."
I chuckle. It's like, what are you gonna do about it, little man?
Yeah. Beauregard with the threats. Anyway,
I glare at Rakox. Ugh.
Like, I don't do it loud enough that, like,
Yeah,
the
no,
other
I get
guy
it.
knows. It's just like a little jab.
The glare still
Yeah.
happens, man. The glare
Yeah, it still happens, yes.
yeah.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so Morgar leaves and you guys can now move on to other stuff. When you head back to the coffee house, Vigo comes up to Beauregard and he says, "By the way, when you get a moment, I want you to bring someone, one of the guys, and come meet me downstairs at the Wasis. There's some stuff you and I should talk about, kind of thing." And then
Says that to who?
that's to Beauregard. And then
When he says one of the guys, does he mean like one of the 6 of us, or does he mean like a dude?
one of the 6 of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he basically wants you to bring a buddy downstairs, so you and one other person. And then the other thing that happens is Taylor goes to Hunter and says, "Look, I don't know that there's really a good way, and it might not be appropriate for us to do this. But I know that Gondor promised that you would be able to do interviews with, specific Silver Ravens themselves. And he told us that Caelandriel and Illyria were Silver Ravens, and I think they deserve to know that, he's gone. I know it's been 80 years since they were teammates on the original Silver Ravens, but I don't know. Something just felt appropriate about having you be the ones to have you be the one to let them know."
All right, I'll get the bloodied quill and send it over.
So you guys, so you can take any of those, whichever one you want to do first.
I offer to. Does she say that out loud in front of everybody, or just Hunter in private?
She just takes Hunter aside to say that, but I mean, it obviously is natural for Hunter to get in touch with.
I offer Altanis.
A little later.
I offer Altanis' services if you want somebody to go with you.
What did Taylor ask? Sorry, I missed that somehow.
Taylor said that Illyria and Caelandriel the Ravens should let Illyria and Caelandriel know that Gondor's dead.
Gotcha.
And Gondor had promised Hunter that he would be able to conduct interviews in order to kind of put together the history and the background and all this stuff to the Silver Ravens. So she was just kind of rolling those 2 into one.
Yeah. That makes sense.
All right, so we've got Maragreg's thing, Hunter's thing, and Beauregard's thing, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Maragreg, do we want to do Maragreg first? Just go down the line. That work for everybody else?
mean, well, yeah.
Maragreg, do you want to go first?
Well, no. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm more than okay with that. But RP logically, like, there's your thing that's right downstairs.
That's fair. That's fair.
So just because that would seem more logical.
Okay. I grab if that's what we want to do, I'm fine with that.
I mean, that sounds good to me.
I grab Weirin and I say, Vigo told me to grab someone and go downstairs. Don't know what he's up to, but would you mind coming with me? Weirin?
I guess he would mind. I don't quite.
Contemplate.
Kicked again?
Oh, maybe.
Oh yeah, is he still?
Yeah, no.
He's not in the server.
Tossed off on. Yeah.
Fuck.
So, either Maragrug would be then. So I'm picking Maragrug and Weirin and Alaric agreed with me when we decided to make the deal and kill the people, and so I'm picking one of them. Yeah. And Maragrug, as the only one that is left, would you elect to accompany me to the?
You want to avoid me so hard, don't you?
Well, I mean, you and Hunter didn't agree with what we did, so why would I?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. Well, you guys do this. I'll go talk to.
Okay.
I'll go talk to Silver Ravens, but do your thing first.
Yeah, I will go.
Thank you, Maragrug.
Go to sleep. Go sleep. It's a good plan, I think. Yeah. I think that's solid.
Yeah, if someone needs me, I'll be in my room.
Alright, 1 second. I should actually put Vigo down.
Real quick before we do this,
yeah?
Is our plan to move to the Tooth and Nail fast enough?
Yeah. So, I mean, yes. Honestly, it's a little redundant because you fished that information out of the Order of the Torrent.
Yeah.
But even if you hadn't done that, Morgar definitely solidified that. Yes, if you had said that, like, oh, we have some time, right, kind of thing, like, you definitely have the warning necessary, and even, like, as we speak, you have all of the teams that aren't, like, currently doing stuff, prepping to move yourselves back down to Old Town. Anyway, who did you bring, Maragrug? Okay. Yeah. So, if you look in the area C3, or whatever, Vigo's kind of waiting. He's just leaning on his hammer. He has like a big hammer as his weapon. As soon as he sees you, he says, "Good, Beauregard. Great. I'm glad that you're here. I have been hearing, and by hearing I mean also seeing, that you're not necessarily the most adept fighter on the team. How am I doing?"
I think that's more than fair. In fact, I think you might be giving me too much credit.
He says, I thought that might be the case, so I wanted to just, take you aside, give you a few pointers, see where you're at. Let's, I don't know, let's break it down. Let's break it down. I don't know, what do you fight? Is that a sword? Do you have a cane sword?
I have a cane sword and a crossbow pistol.
All right, let's whip out that cane sword first. We're gonna take this step by step. Let's just show me your technique. Show me your technique on Maragrug. He says, "Yeah, you can."
Right.
You're fine. Don't worry about it. You're fine, Maragrug.
I pull out my cane sword and I kind of like.
Also, with this whole thing on me, just to clarify, do I have any kind of condition because I'm just in pain, bruised?
No, you don't have any kind of condition.
Okay. I'm just
you're not. Yeah. You are less naturally pained as much as you are pained when you fuck with it kind of thing.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No. Like itching a scratch. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
So I do take a moment to study Maragrug because that's what I would do, and I kind of I kind of like pick the sword up and kind of like loose arm, kind of like flail it at him, and I probably miss.
Yeah, you can roll that. You can roll that attack roll.
Roll it.
Hold on one
Roll
second.
in.
Hold on one second. I actually need to look up what my bonus for studying is. I think it's
Should
probably.
be half level, right?
I hate how I'm not there to watch this.
Yeah, I am very glad that you're not here to watch this. There's a reason I picked not you. Hey, yeah, half investigator level. So that cancels out my -2 to strength, so I just get my BAB. And my BAB is +3.
Mayor Greg, what is your AC?
17.
Okay, yeah, you miss.
So I
Mayor
just
Greg
sidestep.
does not have the hardest time dodging that attack. Vigo goes, okay, he kind of laughs at you. That's worse than I expected. Can you just one more time for me real quick? He says, it kind of seems like you're hesitating almost, right? Do you see that, Mayor Grug?
Jimmy moved in from Derp
Yeah.
by the server.
What are you looking for? It looks like you're looking for something.
As a learned man, I am looking for, I don't know, the right opportunity? I shrug my shoulders and say, I'm not particularly well trained in the arts of combat, so...
What does that even mean? What opportunity were you trying to take advantage of on Merrick Grug? You are clearly aiming for something. Am I not seeing it?
I was aiming for his general person.
He walks over and he says, no, it's more specific than that. I can see you focusing on a specific part of his... Is there something... Is there a weak spot on him that I don't see? This is what studied combat is.
Oh, okay.
Is you seeing that?
Yeah. So I point out I point out a crease in his armor, probably under the. Oh, what are you? You're not wearing anything, are you?
Yeah.
That's true. He says that is interesting. Why interesting? Why? And then he looks at Marigrug and he says, so if you were to do, you can see me, right? You can see the weakness in what I'm wearing, right?
Yeah. So I take a move back, I look at him, and what is he wearing?
He's just wearing it looks on his thing like he's just wearing regular clothes, but that's technically leather armor. He says, but you don't have to hit me. You can tell Marigrug where to attack, right?
Oh, yeah, I suppose I could.
So you inform Marigrug of kind of the whatever it is, right? Like the thin boiled leather that's resting right under, right under kind of the breastplate or whatever. And Marigrug, you get to make an attack action.
Oh, okay.
Just roll an attack roll.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll claws.
Sounds good to me. Okay, you definitely feel you take advantage of Beauregard's advice, and you break through that weak spot in his armor, and Vigo just kind of looks at you. I mean, he got a little scratch, whatever. You guys are kind of playing at this or whatever, and he says, I think this is a better way for you. Look, you're not going to hit anyone with that sword. Clearly, you just don't have the shoulders for it, right? But Marigrug, look at the shoulders on this guy. He's got the shoulders for it. So when you see something, say something.
Oh my god.
Okay. So I am going to be making. Let me just make sure that I didn't fuck up this thing. Okay. I'm going to be making this public. You guys actually in half a second because I have to edit a thing. This is the very first bonus feat in Beauregard's progression, which is called the Statesman Strategist. All right.
Ooh.
Where is it?
I'll show it to you in half a second.
Okay.
Just formatting it correctly. Okay. Okay. I should have just shown this to you guys.
I see it.
Yeah.
That is your thing. Basically, it allows you to give studied combat to fucking Christ, to allies. Additionally, you can also make like incredibly weak attack rolls with your crossbow if you want to. But I'll let you read the specifics, and you can ask me any questions that you'd like. Marogrug, you're next.
Oh, the next.
You guys can also take a minute to revel in Mango's amazing bonus feat. I don't mind.
I mean, I'm reading it right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty.
So is that +2 insight bonus? Is that half my level, or is it always +2?
No. That is always +2.
Okay.
Because otherwise it gets retarded.
But then the attack bonus is studied strike damage.
Okay. So that's
you can get the bonus damage scales appropriately.
Okay.
okay. Study strike is it's 1d6. Ooh.
But that scales up with your level, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So it is the full value of that, but it's always +2.
Okay.
Because it's also it's obviously more effective for you to take command of your own studied combat, but if you want to pass it off, you can pass it off.
Okay. So, but they can't attack if I have them do that.
Next
So
turn after we use it.
If they attack on your turn, then on their following turn they can't like attack.
So they can attack as like an immediate. Oh, as an immediate action. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So
Basically, Beauregard can
still
order
get
you
one
to attack on Beauregard's turn, and then when it cycles to your turn, you don't get a free. You don't get to attack. So
Do you
for
still
instance,
get to take other actions, just not
you
attack?
can. You still have a standard. You could withdraw. You can total defense or whatever. You just can't.
Right, just can't attack right out. Okay.
Right.
Can't cast spells, none of that.
None of that.
Okay.
Wait, you can't cast spells.
You can cast spells because casting spells doesn't count. But you wouldn't be able to cast a spell that used an action like you couldn't do
Shocking Grasp.
Shocking Grasp because that's an attack roll.
Okay, so
But you could, I don't know.
Could you magic missile?
Person, yeah. I guess no. Right? There's no attack roll.
Okay,
there.
so long as it's not like a touch attack.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Huh.
Oh, Jimmy, welcome back.
I mean, I'm always here. I mean, I am not just back though, but anyways. I don't. It makes some annoying announcement when someone enters, right?
Yeah, I don't have that turned on personally, but
I mean, I'm aware of it.
Oof, that's neat.
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool.
anyways, so
No,
Marogrug,
that's great.
it is your turn.
Okay, so we're gonna go. Can you repeat the man's name?
Atticus Voss.
Atticus Voss. So we're gonna go see it, and by we, I mean who wants to go with me to see Atticus Voss?
I'll go if you want company.
I would like someone
Sure.
there. I don't always do well with how it
sure.
works.
Okay, Atticus Voss. I will be revealing because he's awesome, and I should probably start revealing NPCs more than I do. That's show to everybody, and that's brother.
So the okay, that's
Okay. Atticus owns a small bookshop in the castle district, kind of tucked away amidst not like this is probably the housing that like government officials, like bureaucrats, would kind of use, right? So it's not a busy part of town. It's very kind of out in the middle of nowhere. The bookshop itself is cozy, might be a word for it. Like the shelves themselves are overflowing with books, and it actually almost seems like this is more Atticus's personal collection more than it is like a Barnes and Noble, for instance. Standing behind the counter is a well-groomed half-orc with kind of tanned skin and half-moon reading glasses, just like perched on the end of his nose, and he's poring over some tome or another. When you walk in, he does a double take, and he's just kind of like, oh, geez, wow, customers, hi, customers. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with.
So I have my armor coat on, because at least I can get that on. Just so I'm not naked in front of this guy.
Sure.
But then, like, I was like, so, well, just like, so I hear you study half-orc tribes?
He looks up again, feathers in, kind of very lightly a leather bookmark, and closes his big tome shut, and he says, yes, actually, I do. You're Kolkari, aren't you?
I am.
I can tell by the hue of your skin, actually. It's very unique to the Kolkari tribes. I've never seen it in any other half-orc tribe that I have ever come across, and I've done a fair bit of my own studying. But yes, I do. I study half-orcs, and the half-orc tribes in Aveston.
How much do you know about the Kolkari tribe?
I spent, I've been going back and forth between the Kolkari for years now. Kintargo is very uniquely positioned in that it both has good relations with Varisia and the Shoanti tribe of half-orcs, but I can also use my Kintargan citizenship and credentials to get into Nadal and spend time with the elusive Kolkari themselves. They are not always happy to see a half-orc that doesn't have the traditional black skin, but they are more than willing to accept me, whereas other scholars are often turned away or killed.
Really quick thing outside of this conversation, if he's visited the tribes for the past several years, does that mean he would have seen me?
Not specifically. The
Okay.
tribe is the tribe is big enough. There's multiple villages, kind of thing. It's not like everybody's all, in one spot.
Okay, cool. Just needed to know. How much do you know about the Kokori Blackbloods?
I know a fair amount. They are obviously the most interesting part of Kolkari culture, but I have done my best to chronicle as many different pieces of what makes the Kolkari tribe in my tomes. Is there a specific concern that you have?
There is one, and I start shrugging off part of the armor.
Well, I'm flattered. He says, as soon as he sees the discoloration, though, he is instantly kind of interested, and he says, oh, this is different.
So you haven't seen this on a Kokori tribe member before?
Well, I may have. He delicately reaches out, a finger and a thumb, and he kind of plucks off a piece of the flaky skin that's over the discoloration, which hurts, by the way.
Yeah, so I growl.
But it does kind of come off in one chunk. It's like the skin is kind of dead. Yeah, it's exactly. And what's underneath, you kind of see almost for the first time, is an indented layer, almost of a second super black skin. It looks like it's viscous almost, or maybe even wet, but it's not to the touch. It's just kind of another stranger layer of skin.
So it's super shiny like wet, or just...
It's kind of shiny, it's weird.
Jimmy
Okay.
from Derp Speak by the server.
He says, have you... This is new.
This is new this morning.
He says, I'm afraid that you're going to have to remove all of this dead skin that's on top of it. It's going to be a painful process.
All right.
He says, but I think I know what this is, and were you You are Kulkari. You were born in the Kulkari villages, I'm sure.
I was born in the Kulkari village.
So, you know what a mark of Cyrexis is.
I guess I gotta knowledge check that?
Yeah, you do. It's easy, though.
Okay, is that history then, or local to me?
History is probably the best version of this.
Okay, okay.
You know what? It's not even that tough.
Oh, okay.
Mark, it's just basic information that you have is that a mark of Cyrexis is like a special birthmark that some Kulkari have, and is often used to like justify someone being an officer or like a leader kind of thing, like a chieftain or those kinds of things. It's rare, like maybe one in. It's rare. He says, well, the mark of Cyrexis is it's strange because the Kulkari shaman don't quite know what it is. Obviously, I'm sure I don't need to tell you this, but Cyrexis is a fascinating case where the tribe itself worships a dragon as its deity. In fact, I am quite sure, I hypothesize, that it was Cyrexis who changed his shape into a human and mated with the ancient Kulkari, which gave them their traditional black blood. It's the reason that he is so revered, as far as my research would otherwise indicate. The mark of Cyrexis seems to be a kind of... It's a special birthmark that comes out in certain individuals. I think more of individuals have them than it would otherwise seem, but they always come about when one absorbs the specific kind of negative energy that comes from the plane of shadows. You look like an adventuring sort with muscles like that. Have you come into contact with any beings from the plane of shadows? Anything like that? Shay? Shadow dragons, maybe? I don't know.
I mentioned the Shroud Devils. Would those be?
Yeah, it's a little weird. Let me look. He goes into the back and he pulls out a big tome that's basically a giant encyclopedia of different devils. He looks through it a whole bunch and does eventually find Shroud Devils and kind of looks and he reads the entry and says, "Oh, it's honestly unconventional, but I think this might be it." What happens with the mark of Cyrexis, again, I am hypothesizing here, is that it lies dormant within Kulkari, and only when those Kulkari absorb the energies does it actually bloom. Now, typically the mark is, honestly, most of the ones I saw were the size of a large coin and got no bigger than a horseshoe print, so this, he kind of gestures to all of you, this is a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, but I don't know. It is. It's quite remarkable in and of itself.
So I need to remove all of this skin.
He says, yes. You should know that the mark of Cyrexis typically interfaces with the specifics of each bearer. I've seen shamans, other spellcasters, whose marks improve their ability to cast spells, specifically when it comes to the plane of shadows. But warriors, typically, I see it's almost like the mark fuels their muscles to whatever extent. So I don't know what your background is as a fighter, but you can expect that the mark of Cyrexis is going to improve your capabilities in combat.
Is there any downside I should know about the mark in your research?
As far as I know, the pain perhaps is quite a downside. I've heard that it interfaces with certain kinds of individuals in certain kinds of ways. But these are only rumors where a mark of Cyrexis has led to someone's untimely death because, whereas one warrior, it will latch on to that warrior's strength, or one caster, it will latch on to that caster's casting ability. If you're a sickly child, the mark of Cyrexis will just empower the sickness inside of you, and it will consume you from within. But he just kind of like taps you on the shoulder. He's like, I don't think you're gonna have that kind of problem.
Well, that's good.
Says, yes, it's interesting. I've seen several of these on Kolkari Black Bloods through the years. They were almost always promoted to some kind of rank in the Kolkari tribe. I'm a little surprised to see that you're not currently remaining with the tribe. What are you doing in Kintargo?
I left Nigel 7 years ago.
Fair enough.
I have no plans on going back.
I see. I don't know what kind of. I don't know if the mark would give you any benefit if you did desert the tribe, so to speak. But it will definitely. It would definitely improve your abilities, I might say. Do you what? You know what it's been? How has it been interacting with you?
Well, obviously the pain, but it has made it very difficult to wear anything on my torso. Clearly, I've bloated to some degree.
Fair enough. Yeah, it does seem to. I almost want to say that it looks like it's empowering your muscles, but this isn't the kind of effect that I've seen typically. It almost looks like it's. But by the way, like, as this is going on, he's, like, writing down in, like, a blank piece of, like, he's trying to learn as much of this as he possibly can, but he takes a moment to take a kind of like a tailor's measure, and he takes some measurements of you, and he says, this is actually quite small. From what I saw of the marks of Cyrexis, it was, it truly altered those who had it, and I find it a little strange that your mark is so large, and yet it has such a small effect.
I guess as this is going, I'm, like, scratching at my chest, at least, to some degree.
Yeah, as you, the more and more you scratch off, the more, the clearer and clearer it becomes, that the mark itself is, it's not haphazard. It looks like it was, like, etched into your skin by, like, a calligraphy brush, almost.
So it's a pattern?
Yeah,
like
so it has, like,
okay.
Yeah, it has, like, a pattern.
Okay.
A good visual reference for this, and I really don't want to use this, but I'm going to do it anyway, is kind of that, the tattoos that Illidan has. It's a lot like that, but black instead of green.
And not fucking Illidan. So, okay.
And not fucking Illidan, yeah.
So it's... Okay, so it's a darker black against my skin. Okay, with a weird, slightly wet thing. Okay.
Can I sense motive to see what Atticus is trying to get at?
Yeah. I'm not even going to make you roll, because it's fairly straightforward. Atticus is just trying to figure out what makes you tick, almost. He's trying to figure out, like, what class you are, and what...
Hint, Atticus is a Blood Rager.
Jimmy moved in from Derp Speak by the server.
This is something that I know because he was my character, but...
It's true.
Right.
He is trying to diagnose how he thinks the mark is going to affect you personally.
Okay. I guess I'm just honest. Like, well, since you said it, you've seen it affect casting abilities and it's affect warrior abilities. Have you ever seen it affect a Blood Ranger?
Almost as soon as you mention that, he says, "What? Wait, sorry. What kind of bloodline do you have?"
Draconic.
Shadow Draconic?
Yes. It's...
Oh.
My mother was force-bred to have me for this
I
fact.
know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, I had heard that they were trying to breed, specifically, the Shadow, that bloodline specifically is incredibly rare. One out of a thousand orcs in the Kolkari tribe possesses it, either as a sorcerer or as a Blood Ranger. But more interestingly, the same number more or less applies to the marks. Only 1 out of 1,000 marks of Cyrexis are between. So I can't even do the math. 1 out of 1,000,000 or 1 in 1,500,000 horse to have both at the same time. He's kind of like verbally ranting almost as he heads back into the back room and pulls out one of, it looks like, his journals, and he's just like flipping through pages and flipping through pages. He says, I'm almost positive that I actually read or talked to someone about this thing happening. He says, my God, do you know what the avatar of Cyrexis is? You have no idea what you have no idea.
It's like,
I'm not surprised.
No.
The shamans told me because I was so interested in the knowledge, but I honestly doubt that they would have shared it with even any of the lower level grunts. The avatar of Cyrexis is kind of foolhardily prophesied to return and to lead the Kolkari people. It is said that one will come who bears both Cyrexis' mark and his blood. And as soon as he reveals himself to the Kolkari, all Kolkari will bow to him. I don't want to put any kind of notions in your head, but that sounds pretty spot on to me.
That sounds like something someone else from my family would be more happy to hear about.
Beauregard.
Yes.
Do you know Orcish?
Well, let me check. I have. I do.
Okay, you can roll a linguistics check.
Oop, I need to click on myself. Where am I?
Is Maragrid Dovahkiin? Is that what's happening?
So, you know that doesn't sound quite right. Orcish for bloodline, in terms of, like a blood rager or a sorcerer. Orcish for bloodline is not, it doesn't use the word blood in it. It actually uses it's like the base word is the word destiny. Sorcerers in Orcish are more accurately translated as destined ones, and blood ragers are destined warriors, and their bloodline is basically just their destiny. So, that, I mean, you hypothetically don't know whether or not that this is a translation, hint it is, but that's actually a translation error more than it is actual prophecy. Because the prophecy itself would say the blood of Cyrexis, but that's literally every Kolkari because every Kolkari has Cyrexis' blood.
Yeah.
On top of that, as part of the conversation, Atticus actually said the word Mark of Cyrexis in Orcish, but you recognize that the word, that a more direct translation of what he said in Orcish is actually more like scar or brand of Cyrexis. So it's also a mistranslation kind of in two different places. That this really doesn't actually line up in the way that Atticus might think it does.
Okay. I point that out. I point out those nuances.
Okay. Atticus is flustered and kind of says, well, it's you have a Mark of Cyrexis, no less. Here, let me, I can find you a little bit of light reading. And he goes and he pulls out just like an absolutely gigantic, huge, and the whole thing is like full of his delicate writing or whatever. He says, yes, you can read through this if you want more information on my travels with the Kolkari and what I was able to learn about Cyrexis and the Mark of Cyrexis and all the rest.
Can I sense motive as to why he's so excited?
Sure.
He's a nerdy guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Good thing I'm sitting at my computer, right, guys?
Right.
Why wouldn't you?
I'm not.
Across the room.
Not
pacing.
not pacing furiously so much that my feet hurt. He is just a huge nerd. This is very, it's just like he owns a comic book store and somebody came in with Action Comics #1 and is like, hey, I just found this in my grandpa's attic. Is this worth anything? Kind of thing, right? Like, that's the kind of enthusiasm that he is playing. But without further ado, he kind of wishes you well and sends you on your way. He takes the time to describe in real terms that I don't necessarily have the wherewithal or patience to what you can expect from the Mark of Cyrexis, such that I get to reveal your bonus feat.
Here it goes.
Scion.
No way.
I'm gonna ask
No
this.
way. Called Scion of
Those are
Cyrexis.
things.
So, is this gonna be like this whole book thing? I get to keep this book.
Yeah,
Read this
yeah.
book.
And then
Okay.
you get to read this book.
Okay. Is this gonna be a lot? And it's in Orcish.
No, this is actually written in Common.
Okay. And then I guess the last question is this going to be, well, okay, so it's not like the ancient dwarven that I had to decipher. Okay, great.
No,
Awesome.
no, this is not. I have not written this stuff out.
Okay,
This is the kind of RP justification that I have for explaining to you what the Mark of Cyrexis actually does. The
Okay.
last thing that he says is, you also need to understand that the Mark tends to it can hold more power than it takes to activate. If I were you and I were looking to maximize the effectiveness of the Mark of Cyrexis, I would look for other beings from the plane of shadow in order to charge it with a specific kind of shadow energy. He's specifically talking about negative energy damage that doesn't heal undead. It's the kind of shadow. It's the kind of damage that shadow, this stuff from the plane of shadow does. He says, I know you're from Nadal, so you probably are familiar with all of the different types. I honestly can't think of anything close to Kintargo offhand. I suppose the nearest thing would be the Shadow Dragon that guards the border between here and Nadal, which is, he lives in the Ziggurat, and he makes sure that no trespassers get by without being engulfed in Shadow Flame. But I'll leave that to you. Please let me know if you have any other questions for me.
Thank you for your trouble in explaining this.
You are welcome.
Wish there was a way to repay you.
He says, oh no, this is too interesting for me to demand any other kind of payment besides, well, knowing. Okay, so I've shown you yours.
Holy shit. Okay. That's cool.
But
Iterative attacks? What? What does that mean?
You know how when you get to level 6, your base attack bonus becomes +6/+1?
Yeah.
That +1 is an iterative attack, and while blood raging, you can't take those attacks anymore.
but he can natural attack with both of his claws, right?
But he can natural attack with both of his claws, yeah.
You should figure out how to get a bite attack.
Okay. So I guess I don't understand what I just don't. So iterative attack in combat is what? Like, what is that kind of action?
When you take a full attack
when
action?
you take a full attack action, typically, right, when you take a full attack action, you get to attack with all of your iteratives. If I'm level 20, and if I'm level 20 and I'm wielding a greatsword, right, I get to take 4 attacks. One at +20, one at +15, one at +10, and one at +5. If you were to take the same attack action, you would just attack with the first highest bonus, rather than the iterative actions.
Okay.
But you get natural attacks, and they work slightly differently.
Yeah.
You kind of do them all at once. You can use both your claws, and if you can get a bite, like a tail attack, and
something like that.
claw attacks, wings. I can go hunting in the D&D theory chat and find like my max natural attack build, which is
Oh my god!
pure autism.
Build? That sounds good to me.
You're like hybrid bastard fuckery build.
Yeah. And you basically can't wear. Can't
wear armor. Weapons don't really help. However, I just get the AC bonus I would get from armor anyway.
From your constitution.
Then I'm stronger.
Yeah, when we'll just pretend that you decided to test out what it's like to blood rage with the mark fully revealed. Well, while you're blood raging, the mark itself is like smoking almost, because it's just like letting off like ambient shadow energy, and the mark itself is clearly drawing power from you in order to defend you. But yeah.
Beauregard is so startled that he trips over himself and falls over.
Oh, also when you start blood raging, your claws, instead of your claws just kind of like your nails get sharper, your claws become much more about your whole hand, right?
Okay.
Basically, like the last two specific kind of joints in your digit, like fuse together and become much larger, stronger claws entirely out of shadow energy. It makes it almost impossible for you to like conventionally grip a sword or like an axe or something like that. But obviously the claws are much stronger than they would otherwise be.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If I stab a sword through like Maragreg's arms, will he be able to claw and then follow up with like a forearm sword attack?
No. I don't know. That makes
wow.
no sense.
he's
Shut
saying
up.
the
you know?
sword stabs his hands or knows weapons.
Buddy, here's
Yeah.
a quick question, just so I read this note right. The permanent increase to strength is not about blood raging. It is just
No,
an
that is
increase.
just that is
Okay.
just a flat +2 forever.
Okay.
It's not an enhancement. It is like a flat increase to your base score, in the same way
Okay.
like a level 4 increase would be.
You can wear a helmet, right?
Yeah, he can wear what?
But I can wear a helmet.
Body, chest, hands, and
Hands.
shoulders are the 4 that he can
Yeah.
wear. You can also wear wrists, and armor worn on your legs can still grant you magical properties and can use like if you have adamantine, you can have adamantine full plate, right? And that's just on your legs, right? If that makes sense.
Okay.
It would actually
Okay.
be super stupid though because it doesn't grant you an AC bonus.
Right.
But the
right.
adamantine would grant you the traditional adamantine stuff.
The DR and stuff.
The DR. And if you had like fortification, adamantine full plate, you would also get the benefit of fortification.
Okay. So I can get benefits from leggings.
Yes. So you
Like
can get
obviously,
yes.
yeah. Okay.
Oh god.
Okay. Well, this is special. This I'm just a scaly son of a bitch. Okay.
Wow.
Sounds
Shit, mate. Maybe
Shit.
this is. I might.
Or
Hold on,
do you
I have
need
to
to take
check.
one of those
I
out?
don't know that I might have put this later in your bonus feed line.
Oh, that's fine. Just take it out.
No. Let me see. Okay, the last bit that I forgot to add is that natural armor stacks for you. You can stack natural armor on top of natural armor because
okay.
I think you have a natural armor bonus from
I
your
do.
bloodline, and you also get it from attunement. Normally, those two things wouldn't stack, but for you, they do.
Oh,
So I will add that
Right.
because I forgot to add
Okay.
it later.
yeah, that'd be okay. I will pour over things to make that work.
Okay.
Can we keep farming everyone's bonus feats?
Yours and Weirin's have not procced, but
I mean, like
yeah,
Alaric and Hunter, right?
Hunter.
Like, they can still do theirs.
yeah. Hunter needs
Hunter.
to do. Yeah, Hunter needs to do
You
his.
should do hunters, 'cause this is getting cool.
That might actually be better for you, Ruin,
I'd
Murder.
like to go last. I'm getting a little tired, honestly.
You are literally last. This is the
Oh.
last one.
By tired, I also mean like my connection's kind of fraying and it's a little bit difficult to hear. Sorry.
I mean,
I'm going through the Jimmy experience. Like I'm hearing like every 2 out of 3 words. It's kind of broken. Could we maybe pick up with this starting session and move on? Just so
if
it's
you want
not
to
so
put this on
focused
hold,
on
that's
me.
fine. We can do the weekly shit. So we will probably open with next week with actually dealing with the the special raid or whatever. But just to break down what happened at the end of last week, in terms of weekly shit. First, Beauregard's going to need to make a rebellion loyalty check.
Which is 1d...
1d plus 7 at the moment.
Fantastic.
Okay, yeah, you literally just make it.
Oh.
So you also roll 1d6, and that's how many followers you lose.
Yay!
Yay! 40 followers. Okay. So, the pending actions, are... So the first thing that happens, by the way, is your notoriety is going to reset. Your notoriety procking 100 at the end of the last book is how they figured out you guys were part of you guys were based out of the Long Roads, but that will be reset back down to 0 when you move places. Okay, so the recruitment of teams. The first thing is you guys have to decide on a leader. Team leader is Rebels. Okay, so last week what we had happen was you guys recruited Zyrule, who was the half-elf druid, right? As your leader of like a new group, but we wrote this down improperly, so I had to rewrite it. You guys are actually getting a team of outlaws this week. So 3 of you, let's go. Weirin, Marigrug, and Rakax. Can each of you roll a d6? If any of you repeat the same number, roll again until we have 3 unique numbers to work with.
Lucky number 5.
I got it.
2. I want to see a 3, man. Or did you roll the 1 already?
Or did I not roll?
I want to see a 3.
I don't see a roll from Weirin.
Let's go with the 3 for a 10. Let's do it. Hey! We got it,
Well
boys.
played, dude. Okay. So the 3 people that you reveal, 2 is Ikiko, the Tengu guy.
You're not gonna bait me into voting
Aren't
for a guy.
Tengos bad people because they're birds or something?
Barum? No, not really. What was the last one? You had 5?
Yeah, 5, 2, and 3.
Okay, and then Caitlin Kedros. So I should have shared each of them with you. These are the 3 team leaders that Lyra found. You guys can choose one of them to lead your brand new team of outlaws.
What do outlaws do again? They gather information?
No, outlaws I believe are... Well, maybe they do actually. I can never keep straight what these motherfuckers do.
Oof. I see we've got
I
a
kinda
black man, a woman, and someone who identifies as a bird. Nice selection there, Butteroo. King
Can we
SJW.
recruit
The black
Hatful
person is
boyfriend?
even a former slave.
I want Hatful boyfriend
Cliche,
to
man.
be our team leader.
Who? Enoch?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so last week... Okay, so I'm mixing these up in my head. Zyrule is leading your outlaws, and the outlaws are the guys that are sneaks, right? They're the guys that Morgar was leading, and then he got kicked out, so you had to replace him. You replaced him with Zyrule, right? The revolutionaries, or also known as rebels, because this thing is retarded, are the guys that scale from freedom fighters who reduce danger to infiltrators who can rescue characters that get kidnapped, to spellcasters, basically, at max level.
So I like Shikamaru.
He sounds like he can be bought out, though.
I don't trust red mantises.
I kinda like the bird person because they're a bird person.
So... More thoughts? Less thoughts?
What group is this again? You said outlaws.
God, what the fuck did I call these guys?
They're outlaws.
Or what's their functionalities more specifically?
Their functionality is to reduce danger through like patrolling the streets, kind of thing. To rescue characters by like breaking into prison and like rescuing characters, and then late in the game, spell casting kind of stuff.
I want to take Caitlin Kedros only because she is the most like
upstanding.
No, it's not that. It's that like she sticks out the least. She's what's the word?
Inconspicuous.
She's the most
inconspicuous. Yeah.
Yeah, because he is like crazy fighter of like black man, and this Ikiko is the bird man or bird girl.
I say bird man. I say bird person.
I like bird.
How common are tengus in Targo?
Not super common. They're about as rare as Leonin, which are also not super common.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm terming this wrong. These guys are not outlaws; they are rebels. Outlaws are.
Is the functionality as you described?
Yeah, their functionality is as I described. Freedom fighters to infiltrators to spellcasters or Kabbalists. Just to read out what Kabbalists are members of the secret societies and have numerous ties to the aristocracies. Their words can influence events across Kintargo. Their specific action is manipulate events, and spellcasters include clerics, wizards, and other magic-using characters. They can help to restore a lost character given the right resources.
I hate to say this, but since Ikiko looks like she can be good luck, she's a jinx eater or whatever. Seems like she might be
see things.
Yeah, it seems like she might be more suited in because they might be infiltrators, and they might not need to be in the public all that often. They don't have to be, right?
What do you mean?
Like doing daytime stuff. They could like.
Now that I'm looking at this, I think I am so fucking confused. I'm pretty sure I have this backwards. So I'm actually going to just make this call because it doesn't make sense based on what I'm seeing. That this leader is going to take over for Morgar Manthai, and Zyrule is going to take over the spellcasters, because none of these guys are spellcaster classes, but Zyrule is a fucking druid. It makes no sense that a Red Mantis assassin is going to lead a group of spellcasters to me.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
What was Morgar's group?
Morgar's group were fucking, I swear to Christ, outlaws. Okay.
Outlaws.
So this group is going to be your sneaks, your thieves, and then your smugglers / saboteurs.
Oh yeah, I'm perfectly fine with either Ikiko or Caitlin Kedros. I just Shikamaru, definitely not.
Racist.
Well, yes. For
Black,
once, it is actually applicable. I'm not human.
For what it's worth, Mateo likes Ikiko. He says that Jinx Eaters are not just superstition. They definitely work, and we should get one on board. Taylor thinks that's fucking retarded. Jinx Eaters are not a thing, and he is completely lying, and she's spent just as much time on a ship as him, which is a lie, she hasn't. She is in favor of Caitlin Kedros. She thinks that Grey Maidens are very good at their job, and she thinks that having one on board would be dutiful. And Vigo just thinks that Shekumaru would be the best person because Red Mantis assassins don't fuck around.
Do we have a sense of what their general kind of like leanings are? Like, can I sense motive to see like what
in what context?
Like, kind of like their alignment.
Fine. You can make a sense about it. Check for this. It's gonna be really hard.
I will aid another. We will all aid another.
Because I told you, because I specifically don't want you guys to...
Oh, right, I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Nobody rolled well enough anyway. I mean, the best you can get is from Lyra, who kind of explains things a little bit. She basically says that Shekumaru seems he's kind of like a god. He is rebelling against the Red Mantis. He just hates. He was a slave, and then he was a slave to the Red Mantis Society. So he is his thing is he's rebelling against. He's raging against the machine of Cheliax. He hates that they keep slaves. He hates slavery, and he thinks that kind of the rule of House Thrune is suffocating and bad. Caitlin Kadros specifically talked about how she was betrayed by a leader that was exactly like Barzillai Thrune, which led to her being brainwashed and eventually kind of used against her people and her friends. And so that's the reason that she's chosen to kind of like that she is interested in the rebellion. Ikiko is he's a former pirate. He was in the shackles for forever. He knows how vicious she knows how vicious and brutal Chelish pirate hunters can be. And so she's interested in joining the rebellion out of a sense of kind of vengeance against basically what the Chelish do to the shackles, where she grew up.
Beauregard votes for Caitlin.
Hunter votes for Ikiko.
I vote for Ikiko.
We need
Beauregard still votes for Shekumaru.
those sweet diversity points, guys. We need them.
Boys. Affirmative action. You guys don't have a black man on the team.
Cox.
Humans.
We don't have bird people either.
Sorry, is Ikiko? What was Ikiko's like thing? She only cares about the pirates, right? Like how pirates are like great.
She wants to join. She wants to fight back against Cheliax for what Cheliax does to the shackles. Basically, that's her motivation for joining the rebellion.
Oh, that's dumb.
Shekumaru's is he hates slavery and he hates. Yeah, and then Caitlin thinks that Barzillai Thrune is like her old leader.
Yep, I think I'll go with Caitlin.
Oh boy. 2-2-1.
Alaric is the deciding vote, right?
I mean,
there really is no...
Should we just go 50-50 and let RNG decide?
We could also...
Actually, Lyra, I guess, hasn't voted, so she decides.
For Shekumaru?
She votes for Shekumaru to even things out, and we can just...
Goddamn, you're affirmative action.
Wait, we could also... So, we could also use, like... We could also let Marigreg reallocate his vote, since Shekumaru is the clear loser.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So, Marigreg, you be the deciding vote. You have to choose between... Shekumaru is disqualified. You have to choose between Caitlin and Iko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or Ikiko, right? Ikiko? Yeah, Ikiko.
Kaiko. Wait, I shouldn't say that.
Aiko, all day.
So you guys, like, I'm just like, yeah, I want that dude. You're all just like, no, pick again. I was like, okay. Birdman.
Alright,
Okay.
Birdwoman.
Alright, sounds good.
Birdwoman. Ikiko is a neutral good Tengu female swashbuckler. Let me write this down.
Alright.
By write this down, I mean change her...
At least she's good.
You guys have been pretty good at dodging evil. I actually think you guys have chosen every good option except for maybe one.
Was it Morgar
We didn't choose Morgar Manthai.
No, Morgar Manthai is
Yeah, we
chaotic
didn't choose
neutral.
him.
There was one option that was very kind of backwards, and if you like really read the backstory, I guess you probably would have gotten it, but otherwise you may have missed it. Okay, so the next thing is recruit followers. Are you guys You guys are choosing to fail this so that you don't to honor the note that you got.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did we get with the note to not recruit anyone this week?
No,
it said that the followers you guys were looking into were plants.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the last one, which is a security check, whoever is, I think that's
think that's
Cax. Yeah, so this is to rescue the librarians with your group of pirates. On a success, you're going to gain 10 followers and increase the magic item die for minor magic items by 1d4, and on a failure, your notoriety increases by a whole bunch.
So what's my bonus? Is it still 5?
Was it always 5? Yes, it is 5.
Nah.
Okay, wow, you barely pass.
Alright,
DC
cool.
17. So you rescue the librarians. They're very happy to be kind of. They're happy to support your claim, though they don't want to do so extremely publicly because of obvious circumstances. But they are going to they're going to lie low and keep things kind of under the table. Ralph basically says that because all of the other stuff that seems to be going on with Tonrik and the Hell Knights and everything, like the rescue itself actually wasn't even all that difficult. They didn't seem super interested in holding on to the librarians anymore, since they had already used effectively these guys to set the trap to kill Gondor. So I will make a note of that for magic item purposes when I roll for the new place. Oh, okay. So you guys are doing some stuff with the Tooth and Nail. One of the people that you meet in the Tooth and Nail is a blacksmith. What is her name? They just added her. Brunhilde Valkon.
Wow, that's the best name.
She's a blacksmith from Druma who specializes in the use of special materials. She is going to behave like Newt for you guys. Newt is going to follow you to he is going to follow you to the Tooth and Nail to be your dedicated potion salesman. She is going to work like Newt, but be built on your
Jimmy moved in from Earth by the server.
Why is Newt following us?
Because you guys need a potions vendor, and I said so. She is going to sell you guys special materials. So if you want to buy, what you can do through her is you can, like, if you say, I want a Ghost Cobalt longsword, right? You can go to her and say, hey, I want to buy a Ghost Cobalt longsword. She will have items in stock each week, in the same way that Newt and the regular market does, but she is going to have her own set of items that are going to be a regular price. If you want to buy something from her, it is going to be like it's going to be the 150% like normal, the 50% markup, just like any other price order would cost. But yeah, so that's what that is. For Rebellion stuff next week. It's honestly too complicated to dole out in 18 minutes, so we will put that off until next week. And yeah, we'll put that off until next week. So I guess we're done. Is there anything else any of you guys wanted to accomplish tonight?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Well, good. Then I guess
Not the only one.
Oh wait, so eventually I want to go and ask Femthor about like who's guarding the.
Can we send some people to check on the veracity of the Hell Knights stuff?
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah, you can just make that the first mission that you give to who did you hire? Eco, because they're she leads the team of thieves. She says, sure, I'll take care of it. She comes back within a day, and as far as they are aware, Tonrik's body is desecrated, so they do need true resurrection. You do need true resurrection in order to bring it back. He's definitively dead. He's not faking. He's guarded by the Dotari, who definitely seem on guard. All of this stuff is backing up essentially the Hell Knights' claim. There doesn't seem to be any duplicity to anything that's going on. Citadel Ball is literally being emptied. Actually, she makes specific note of that like, all of the armor and all of the armor, all of the weapons, all the other stuff that has been kept in the, the armory of Citadel Ball is being carried out, and they're pretty sure that it is being given to the Dotari specifically. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I just want to go talk to what's her name again? I forgot. It's been so long. Lorelai
Reynolds.
I want to talk to Lorelai about what if she's like willing to tell me anything that they're doing.
You have a hard time getting in touch with her because her fiance is obviously egregious. But you definitely get a note to her through the Reynolds household that she's going to try and contact you inside of the next couple of days.
Oof. Cool. Before we break, I want to talk to her Cox briefly.
All right.
Let me
Is
see.
it because we voted for the same person? Yeah, that was kind of awkward.
No. I asked you if he's ever heard of the you're from Raha Doom, right?
Yeah, I'm from Raha Doom.
I say, have you ever heard the Raha Doomy tale of Aladdin?
Fuck me.
What did you
Come
say?
on,
Sorry,
dude.
I didn't. What
I don't
did
know.
you say?
I don't know if I've heard of the Raha Doom tale of Aladdin. Maybe you should sing it for me. Or
There's no need to sing.
Oh God.
God damn it.
So, part of the this tale is there is this street beggar, who falls in love with a royal princess, but he is unfit to wed because he is not a prince, and he finds himself a magic genie who turns him into a prince, and details later they are married and happy. And I think I may have a solution to your predicament in terms of your eligibility to marry your coveted Lorelai.
so you want to also kill Regis, right?
Killing Regis is but one step in this plan, and the least important to me, at least.
What's Regis' position, anyways? Like, what's...
he is the leader of the Chelish Citizens Group.
Yeah, he's basically like
Neighborhood
#2.
Watch on steroids.
So, if you recall, almost all of House Victor Cora, perhaps all of it, has been wiped out. But due to our latest adventure, I have both the gob and the signet ring and the jewelry and the knack for disguise to potentially to impersonate a member of House Victor Cora. I propose to you that we reestablish House Victor Cora. Me posing as a former member of that house, I then adopt you into the family, and then you are in fact gain the noble status you need to properly win your lady's heart. What say you?
Winning my lady's heart through underhanded trickery is no win at all.
You won't win her heart through the trickery. You will do that using... It is apparent to me that your and Lorelai's love is true. This is just abusing a technicality to put the particulars in order so that you are qualified on a blood basis rather than on a... so that what is true romance may shine through.
Don't cats have like barbed dicks anyway? So doesn't that like kind of preclude? Never mind.
There could be, but I mean, there could be. Their dicks are more human than they are cat.
Fair enough.
I think I am on record that in the same way that like elves and orcs and humans can all intermingle, so can other races such as Leonine.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I appreciate
not to give fuel to any of the furries. Oh, I have one more thing to add, by the way, that I forgot to mention.
I say before you answer me, sleep on it. We'll talk more later.
Because I don't want to ruin. I don't want to fucking ruin. I don't want to ruin Enoch's day. Anyway.
Well, no, please ruin it. Ruin it. Do it.
Oh, he's challenging you.
You've already ruined it enough before. Oh, I'm so sad.
The last thing that happens, like when you guys kind of all like get your shit back together for the night, is Taylor comes to you guys and says, "By the way, I was doing some unpacking on all of the stuff you brought back from the archivists, and I'm pretty sure that I found a copy of the contract that was signed, the Kintargo contract that was signed to add Kintargo to the Chelish Empire in the first place. So we should probably read this and figure out what's going on.
Okay,
but that'll be next time.
That's an interesting thing to find. That's like super
Wait,
official.
did that ruin my
right?
day?
No. What would ruin your day is that you can't fuck Lorelei.
What?
Honestly.
Why is that shocking?
Don't worry, Rakox. I know a gifted transmutationist.
I'm gonna go vomit.
Wait, are you making a eunuch?
No, not a eunuch.
No, get a hooker to look like her.
Oh no, that's not what I was thinking. What?
I don't know.
I was just gonna shapeshift. I was just gonna shapeshift his dick so it would work right.
That's.
Oh my god.
Wait,
it seems
what?
like
I think that's
such
weird.
a non-issue. Okay, actually, to be fair though, in one of like the 3-5 books, it's like Karamaga, which is like this like city in the fucking court of Varisia, is like a thing. Apparently, there is like halflings and humans, and like one of the adventure hooks is like, you know, if a wizard figured out a way to make that work in terms of genetics, that would be good because they're doing all the other steps. And I just read like. I just had to put the book down, and I was like, why? Why did I read that? Why, Paizo? Why you do this? Anyway.
But yeah,
Okay.
so included in the archivist's loot that you have is a copy of the contract, basically, that you remember.
Where is that
Gondor actually
contract
told
from?
you. So Gondor actually told you this when he told you the history of the Silver Ravens, that Caelandriel, Illyria, and him all negotiated the contract with House Thrune to add Kintargo to the Chelish Empire. And on top of that, that there was a clause in that contract that allowed Kintargo to legally secede. So now you guys have the contract itself, and you can find that clause.
So we can secede if we want, which is like plot relevant and stuff.
It is plot relevant, yeah. You have to.
Ooh,
I mean,
it's
just,
legal.
You need to figure
It's
out.
legal.
You need to figure out how
In
to
the God
jump
of
through these
contract.
legal hoops. But yes,
It is legal. All that matters.
All that matters.
Me.
age of consent, boys. 80 years.
Oh.
Wait, is that a joke of something I'm missing, or is it just...
No, it's just that
puns?
Kintargo has been part of the Chelish Empire for 80 years, and hypothetically they can stop getting statutory raped by Cheliax, I guess, in this joke.
Should
It wasn't
I?
very good.
Should I stop streaming?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably for
you
the
probably
best.
should
This
have done that
conversation.
before,
Yes,
but
yes,
oh
I-
well.